We're going to call this Kahalu'u Neighborhood Board meeting to order. Today is March 12th, 2025, 6 p.m. And we are in order. First order of business, we have Honolulu Fire Department.
Hello, firefighter Sueda, Kahalu'u Fire Station. I'm going to start off with a question that was asked last month about the fire that was about a year and a half ago behind the Kahalu'u Park. So it was described as HFD responded to a fire at or near 47180 Waihe'e Road on the 14th, July 14th, 2023 at about 8:36. Responding firefighters described the area as a campsite. The HFD investigator classified the cause of this fire as accidental due to an unattended cooking fire. Statistics for February, there were 3 nuisance calls, 4 activated fire alarms, 50 medical calls, 4 motor vehicle crashes or collisions, and 1 mountain rescue. The safety tips for March are for smoke alarms. Smoke alarms are crucial for saving lives and play a key role in home fire escape plans. When installed properly and maintained correctly, they provide early alerts, giving occupants the chance to evacuate quickly. Install smoke alarms in every bedroom, outside each separate sleeping area like a hallway, and on each level of the home. Test smoke alarms at least once a month by pushing the test button. Replace smoke alarms when they are 10 years old or stop responding when tested. Any questions? Sure.
Thank you, Rocky.
Okay.
I have a question. I know a couple months ago they had a rescue up in Pu'umaelele. Could you give us a report on when you guys do rescues on Pu'umaelele? Because all around Pu'umaelele get no trespassing signs.
Uh-huh.
Though people take up big tour groups.
Okay.
I'm waiting for the day somebody's going to get arrested.
Yeah, I think that might refer to the one mountain rescue that we had last month. But it is a very busy trail.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so we can definitely keep you informed when we get calls up there.
And also the fire, again, having to do with the Hi'ia State Park side of Pu'umaelele. Because I think was started by the homeless.
Yeah, that's actually Kaneohe's area, so we don't respond to all of them, but I do know that there were a couple of alarms there also because of in the bushes. Yeah.
Okay, mahalo.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys. Good job.
Thank you.
Uncle Cliff for HFD. Uncle Cliff, microphone.
Okay. Did you guys respond to the hit and run accident in front of the school last week?
I personally did not. That might have been the other watch.
No, because from what I heard, what the officer or the next day, she came down. So I was wondering, hey, what's happening? So she came down trying to find that house right next to me because there was a camera on the house
Oh, okay.
facing outside. But the mentality, guys, when they put camera, is only for the driveway, nothing else.
Mhm.
It's not a broader area. So from what she said is the lady is okay, but she was in a crosswalk
Mhm.
and got wangy. So that is not the first wangy in the front of the school. A couple years ago, had one. The lady was on the sidewalk. Another parents, like they are rushing. I don't know where they're rushing to. Maybe they JOB.
Yeah, I can follow up. What do you know what time of day roughly that was? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I definitely can follow up, and then next month we can have that information for you for that call.
Yeah, but
If HFD responded.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mahalo, Uncle Cliff. Keone, you had your hand up online.
Oh, no, I did, but I was gonna ask the question at Iraqi and ask about that fire up at the homeless camp. I was driving past that night and you could see the
Okay,
smoke at
mahalo.
the top of the hill.
Board
Thank you.
members in person, any other questions for HFD? Board members online, anything else for HFD? Community in person, any questions? Community online. Seeing none, mahalo HFD for being with us.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Moving on to HPD, Honolulu Police Department. Do we have a representative online? Seeing none, we'll come back if HPD joins us later. Moving on to filling of Kalamai. Sorry, was there somebody online? Just kidding. Moving on to filling of vacancies on the board. We are still in need of a secretary. Would any current board members like to fill the secretary position? This is to assist NCO in making sure that the minutes are accurate and with correspondence. Seeing none, let me know if you change your mind. We also have 2 board member vacancies in Subdistrict 6. So this is for your community in the room and or online, or your family or friends who live on the McDonald's side of Hui'iwa Street. If you are interested, please come and join us. Moving on to city, state, and federal reports. Mayor Rick Blangiardi's office. Regina, do we have you anywhere? Oh, there we go. Hi, Regina.
Hello. Sorry, I just stopped on the side.
You're good. Take your time.
Okay, so Regina Malapai on behalf of the mayor's office. We have 2 updates. One from the Department of, or in follow-up to the question to the Department of Facilities Maintenance state tractor. Is the city able to use the state tractor if the city needs one? The department says the city has a large tractor, more equipment available in the Kaneohe district, but is willing to take a look at the state's tractor if it is available. We are in conversation right now with the state to find out more information, so we'll provide an update at the next meeting if that's okay. They did respond because the city would like to inspect the equipment if it's available to use, but at least we have the conversation going. So that's the
Kalamai, Regina, you're cutting out there. Thank you for starting that conversation, though. Do you have a poor connection?
I might. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we're good now. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so have fire hydrants been installed? Because there will be potential development projects. I think there was a question regarding that, regarding residents approached one of the board members asking him why the fire hydrants from the Long Bridge and past the Kea Pier, I guess they're there, and residents are concerned that there will be new potential developments. So the response from DPP is the department has no knowledge of any upcoming projects in this area. If you want more information, we'll need like an exact address if anybody can provide that. And then the Board of Water Supply is not aware of any new development projects in the area. The fire hydrants were installed as part of a water line replacement project along Kamehameha Highway, completed in 2013. So Board of Water Supply standard practices for all new water mains meet water system standard requirements, which includes fire protection. So that's all the information we got there. If you need more, let me know.
Thank you so much. Board members in person. Uncle John?
Hi, Regina. Thanks for being here this evening. I wanted to report to you and ask your help, planning and permitting's help with figuring out the allowability of a firing range in Waikane on private property. I think the property is zoned agriculture. It's Kuleana land. It's up Waikane Valley Road. It's generated a whole lot of calls over the last several weeks. We called into HPD. HPD responded finally this past weekend And I have a report number and some information that I can get to you about that. But it turns out it is a firing range there and that the property is being leased to Honolulu Sporting Goods. And they're actually doing certifications and trainings of federal officers and so on. Seems absolutely ludicrous. It's super loud, disturbs the whole neighborhood, from all day Friday, Saturday, even into 9:30 at night times. And it's so loud that it's like fireworks going off all the time. So anyway, wanted to bring that to your attention, and to HPDs if they're when and if they're on. But HPD knows all about this. They're not going to be able to respond with anything until they know whether or not it's lawful to allow a firing range there. But it's certainly not smart. So anyway, thanks. I'll email you the information that I have, the police report and the Honolulu Sporting Goods information.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Uncle John. And yep, just to repeat, if you can CC the state reps and senator as well, that would be beneficial. Board members in person, anything else for the mayor's office? Board members online? Tony, did you want to chime in on that fire hydrant topic?
No, if they're saying that it's not development, then gotta take it at that for now.
Okay,
Um,
thank you.
I'll report back to the people that asked, and I'll let them know that that's the information we got back.
Okay, thank you. Community in person,
thank you.
anything for the mayor's office? Community online, anything for the mayor's office? Oh, sorry. Oh, Uncle Donald, sorry, 1 second. Yeah, go ahead, Uncle Donald, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Chair. I just have the question for the representative. I know there's going to be a mayor's town hall in May. Can you tell me what time? I know where it's going to be, but you know what time it's going to be?
Yeah, we have that information. I think we can provide it to everyone after this meeting.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Or Rachel, do you have that?
Sorry, Regina. Uncle John had one more thing.
No
If
problem.
you can, I'm just gonna have him go to the mic. We're gonna try to get this graphic up online real quick.
Okay, I'll send you the
It's gonna
town
take a
hall
minute.
though. No problem.
I'll wait.
Sorry, Regina, I don't want to hold you up.
Oh, no worries.
Well, it's a video. Why don't you just, we have a video that Uncle John has and we're gonna try to figure out how to get it off the phone, but for time onto the screen, but for time's sake, maybe I'll have him email it to you, but if you could just ask your question, Uncle John, in regards to said video, then that would be. Okay. Okay, so that's gonna take some time. So we're gonna move on in the agenda. Sorry, Regina, would it be all right for you to just stay online with us and I can circle
Yes,
back
of
to this when we
course.
get it on? Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Yes.
Moving
Okay.
on to Councilmember Esther Kia Ina's office.
Everyone, my name is Irene Limos and I'm the Constituent Services Coordinator to Councilmember Esther Kia Ina. Councilmember Esther Kia Ina apologizes that she couldn't make it tonight, so I will be presenting the report. This month, the council begins its fiscal year 2026 budgetary process, and this week the Budget Committee is holding their informational briefings. The informational briefing meeting continues tomorrow, March 13th at 10 o'clock a.m. Landfill update. Councilmember Esther Kia Ina continues to monitor the measures at the Hawaii State Legislature, which has crossed over at the Hawaii State House relating to the landfill, which would decrease the buffer zones from 1/2 mile to 1/4 mile. She is concerned that this would put into play the landfill sites identified by the city that are located on the windward side. And lastly, Councilmember continues to work on the membership of the Agricultural Task Force. So that concludes my report, and I'm happy to take back any questions. Thank you.
Mahalo, Irene. Board members in person, anything for Councilmember Kia Ina's office? Board members online, anything for Councilmember Kia Ina's office? No, we're doing board members though. Community in person? Joe, come to the microphone, please.
Aloha, my name is Joe. I wanted to first off mahalo Councilmember Kiaina for the previous work around invasive species, and I wanted to see what she was planning to do in this next fiscal year in order to continue the efforts to get rid of little fire ants and coconut rhinoceros beetles. Thank you.
Mahalo. Irene Kalamai, I have one quick question. What is the bill number that council member is tracking for the landfill space?
That would be SB 446 SD2. So that was a state senate bill.
This is prior to crossover or since crossover?
It has crossover, yeah, but
Okay.
it has yet to be scheduled.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Community online. Uncle Donald, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Irene. Donald Sakamoto. I just got a question. There was a bill passed by the council, signed by the mayor, I believe, on food waste. So what bill was that, and when it's going to take effect? Is it next month? We have to make sure we don't put food waste in our gray bins.
I'm unsure, but I could get back to you and email you back, Donald. So sorry, I don't have the bill on me right now.
Yeah. I read something in the paper that, they're going to start next month, but I wasn't quite sure how the procedure was.
Mahalo, Uncle Donald.
Okay, thank
So
you.
Irene will follow up with you on that. Appreciate it.
Yes.
I think
Thank
that's it for
you.
us, Irene. Thank you so much for being with us this evening.
Thank you.
We're going to circle back to Mayor's office. Regina, are you still with us?
I am.
Hi, sorry. We're going to test run this video that Uncle John has, and I'm going to let him narrate his
Okay.
concerns once we get it going here. Please bear with us. There we go. Thank
No
you.
problem.
She has to share her screen. We're just having a little bit of technical, I won't say difficulties because we just got it. I'll just say technical transitions right now. All right. Are we good? Good? Okay. We have no volume, so you just got to narrate it. Uncle John.
I would interpret, but actually, what you're going to hear is cackling. So this is what Kahalu'u Regional Park looks like. This is video that was taken by a police officer who has no jurisdiction because the blue signs that need to go up that cite an ordinance. You see them all over the place. You see them at parks. You see them along by the mud bog area and so on. Without that ordinance, HPD can't do a thing. And this is what's going on behind there. This is what we worked so hard for. When I got back from college in the 70s, got involved in fighting for Kahalu'u Regional Park and spent decades working with others in this community to help plan for this park, which was mandated because what we've called the flood control project, the lagoon, channels that channelize the stream and so on, in reaction to 60s flooding. The federal requirement, there was federal money involved, and federal, state, and county all involved in this project that resulted in Kahalu'u Regional Park. And Kahalu'u Regional Park was part of the give back to all of that effort to deal with watershed management and so on, right? And here we are today, and this is what's happened. Because of the city not going and planting its flag and saying, this is our park, this is our area, nothing is happening back there. It's gotten completely overgrown. And, in that very same area where you see all of those tents, maybe 20 years ago, 25 years ago, I mowed that area with a mower. All of that has grown since then. And I have brought this up repeatedly, and I wanted to put this out there in front of everybody. I want to embarrass all of us, the city especially, for not having taken care of, not having been stewards of this park. That whole area was in the Kahalu'u Regional Park plan that Rocky worked on, Nick Cambro worked on, Amy Lewison worked on, Snooky Mello worked on, all kinds of people were involved in that planning. That whole area was set aside for another field, another playing field. And the reason why it was for a playing field is because they anticipated that in the future, they'd have to dredge the lagoon again. And where are they going to put all that material? The last time the lagoon got dredged, right, it's supposed to be 10 feet deep. And we all know, you drive by it, it's not 10 feet deep, it's inches deep at best. The last time the lagoon got dredged, it filled up that entire property where you see all of those trees and all of those tents that were purchased to raise fighting chickens. And then the material got moved from there over to where Kahalu'u Regional Park playing field is out here and piled to dewater. And we have said, we've talked about this at neighborhood board meetings repeatedly. This is a completely unsustainable practice. If you keep digging a hole at the bottom of the watershed, it's going to fill in. It's going to fill in, and that's exactly what it does. And where are you going to take all that material? The city has told us, oh, we're going to take it to Heiakia. No, the dead bodies are going to take it there. No way. Stop dredging the lagoon. But at the same time, take care of the park that's there. So I just wanted to bring this out again. This was given to me by an HPD officer who went walking back there. We've been hearing a lot, people like Daniel Bender and others complaining about dogs attacking people who are walking in the park. Guess why? Protecting the fighting chickens. So anyway, welcome to Kahalu'u.
Mahalo, Uncle John. Sorry, Regina. We'll get that emailed over to you as well, but
Yeah,
were you able to
please.
see, were you able to
I-
see the graphic?
I was able to see it. Thank you for providing that. I'll make sure to get that over to Mayor's office right away.
Thank you. We appreciate
Regina,
it.
if I may, so the first step that needs to be taken, and I expressed this to Laura Thielen 8 days into her job. Plant your flag, put up the, they actually, city finally came around to surveying the city property behind there. The surveying was done, all the pins were there. The next step was to go put their signage up so that they can manage the park. They know where the territory is. Never got done. And it's been well over 2 years, 3 years. I forget how many years already.
Kalawai, Uncle John, I'm going to interject just because we have a bit to cover. But so the ask, Regina, and then I guess this would also be for Councilmember Matt Wire's office, who's coming up next, is that we get the ordinance signs put up there as soon as possible. Thanks, Regina. We're going to move on to Councilmember Matt Wire's office. Chelsea, are you with us online?
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Chelsea, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, 1 second here. Alrighty. Hi, everyone. I'm Kelsey from Councilmember Ward. Oh, sorry, my camera's not on. Everyone, my name is Kelsey from Councilmember Wire's office. So sorry I couldn't make it in person this time, but I wanted to give some quick updates here. Alrighty, so I was able to paste into the chat Mayor's Town Hall information. We included that also in our neighborhood board newsletter. It is going to be held at Castle High School May 8th at 6:30 p.m. Some policy highlights to give. Let's see, we have Bill 15. That one is the cesspool conversion grant program within the Climate Resiliency Fund. I had brought that up last meeting, and there were some really good questions and follow-up phone calls that I had with Uncle Rick and even with Joe Watt. I wanted to share that it did pass its first reading at the February full council. It also passed out of the budget committee, and we expect it to be on the upcoming March full council agenda. So that one is moving along. So I encourage you folks, if you have any support, questions, comments, concerns, to submit that testimony for Bill 15. Next one that we have is Bill 18. This one is the one that removes single plastic bottles from vending machines at city facilities. This is just very specific to city facilities, very specific to vending machines, just taking out plastic bottles from those vending machines. So that one did pass out of full council in February, its first reading. It also passed out of the Housing Sustainability, Economy, and Health Committee, which Councilmember Wire is the chair of. And so we also expect this one to be on the March full council agenda. Alrighty, and then last but certainly not least, Bill 61 is the bill that sets a clear standard for HPD to identify and cite individuals performing wheelies. This one is wheelies using e-bikes, mopeds, motorcycles on public roadways, except in permitted events like parades and tournaments. So this one is moving along as well. So this one has passed its second reading at the February full council. It also passed out of the Planning, Infrastructure, and Transportation Committee meeting on March 5th. And so we also expect this to be on the March full council agenda. So wanted to mahalo those. Had some really good conversations with Joe Watt. He is the community member. I think he's probably in person here at the meeting. He was flagging some ways for us to incorporate assistance for neighborhoods and small businesses in regards to the cesspool conversion. So we're sort of doing some follow-up there. So that way we can kind of look at it as like a neighborhood level planning for financial relief. So that's sort of what we have going on in the background. We also wanted to mahalo Uncle Rick for giving us some follow-up and some context regarding the technology needed for cesspool conversions. And so we're going to continue to keep that conversation going too. And so, yeah, the other one that I just wanted to highlight, and I won't take too much longer here, excuse me, but wanted to mahalo Uncle John. We had some pretty good conversations on what potential next steps that the community could take to safeguard Pu'uma Ele'ele. And, you know, just the possibility of using Clean Water Natural Land funds for that. And so if there's any other questions, you know, please feel free to reach out to me or the office, and we can go ahead and try to provide as much resources as we can. Taking a quick scan here. I'll definitely share this neighborhood board newsletter with you folks in the chat, and it'll be published on our website tomorrow too. So thank you for your time.
Mahalo, Chelsea. Board members in person. Anything for Councilmember Matt Wire's office? Board members online. Community in person? Joe?
Aloha. I have like two questions. The first one is a request to see if you could potentially stay online for the community concerns coming up. One of the contractors for the job that we were talking about, the neighborhood level septic planning, is present today, just to introduce a little bit of the project. That way you folks can connect. The other question that I had was it's kind of a concern. So they recently, I'm sure you know, they recently found the gigantic infestation in Mauka Hau'ula. As it is right, little fire ants. As it is right now, there's very few fire ant populations that are on the map through a significant chunk of Councilmember Wire's jurisdiction or his district. But as we know from the Waihe'e infestation, which ended up being more than 30 acres, and this Hau'ula infestation, which is more than 30 acres, and I was finding out today that the old infestation near Kapaka Farms is actually extending much further Mauka. I would guess that it's likely that there are other Laie, Kahuku, Paumalu, like Waimea infestations of little fire ants as well. And so I was wondering what Councilmember Wire is planning to do in order to make sure that the state and all of the other state organizations don't drop the ball, because they will never take Oahu as seriously as we do living on this island.
Thank you, Joe. And I appreciate you raising that. And I saw you on the Hau'ula Community Association, and you know, you gave me some really good heads up with the conversations that we're going to be having in regards to the little fire ants. I'll have you know, I did flag it with our team, and I did let Matt know what DOA and DLNR did report with the fire ants, and kind of just giving him the context that was shared in the meeting, and you know what you're sharing now. So we're going to go ahead and continue some of the conversations to see what steps we can take. So I appreciate you.
Yeah, the last thing I'm going to say is, considering the size of these infestations, I don't think it's reasonable to assume that Board of Water Supply or Parks Lands do not have infestations just because they have not been found yet. I would love to see a dedicated city and county effort to delimiting and assisting with infestations that are close to their properties, even if it's not on the parkland, if it's next to the parkland and unmanaged, it will be on the park. And it will be on the BWS watershed side. So I think that that's an important thing to note. The Waihe'e infestation up here, if we look at the GPS maps, and I'll see if I can get those shared with you, but it definitely crosses over onto city and county land. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And I wanted to make a side comment, excuse me, board. I hope this is okay. I understand there was a question that came up earlier regarding the allowance of food scraps in green waste bins. I understand that was a bill that Councilmember Wire had co-introduced with Councilmember Cordero. I think the latest update that I received from it is that that's going to be delayed. So initially it was going to start April of 2025, so next month. But I understand, I think the company that was going to do that needed to build a new facility for it. And I think there was just some permitting delays there. So from what I understand is that it's going to, that whole new law is going to be delayed, but I'm going to go ahead and follow up to see if there's any other details I could provide.
Mahalo, Chelsea. We appreciate that. If there's an additional update to that with a new to be decided date of when that law is going to be enacted, if you could just drop it to Rachel and myself and Parker so that we can get it out to community as soon as it comes up. We'd appreciate it.
You bet.
Thank you. Sorry. Sorry, do you have something for Councilmember Wire's office?
I can just give an update on the green waste. So I'm Roger Babcock with the Department of Environmental Services. So that is our project. It is correct that a contract was awarded to process the green waste, food waste along with the green waste to that contractor through an RFP process. They won the project. And then they had to get construction permits. And so they have those now and construction has started, but there's no way it's done by April, which is next month. So there is a bill to extend that by a year. So it's going to take a year before we're actually able to start accepting food waste in the green waste carts. There'll be a period of construction, startup, and then a lot of public outreach. So folks know what can and can't be done exactly. So we want to go through that process, give enough time to make sure that it's successful. So thanks.
Appreciate it. Okay. Thank you so much, Chelsea, for your time. Oh, sorry. Joe has one more thing for you and he's going to keep it under a minute.
Extremely short. The project about the community level sewage planning found out that there were potentially sewer expansions planned for this area in Akui Manu and in Kahalu'u. I was wondering if you could let us know if that's the plan. Thank you.
Mahalo. Thank you, Chelsea. Moving on to Board of Water Supply, Barry Usagawa. Barry, are you Barry tonight?
I'm not Barry.
You're not Barry
If
tonight?
you want, I could comment on
Hello.
that last question.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm
Make
online.
it
Can
quick.
you hear
Yeah,
me?
so that's about the sewers.
Sorry,
So, yeah,
Barry.
we-
1 second.
Hey, Barry.
Oh, go ahead,
Yeah, so
Roger.
so we do have sewer projects out here. I don't have the details, but that is true. There are several sewer improvement district projects. They're in various phases of either planning or design. I don't think anything has construction funds budgeted yet, but we can get back to you with the details of, we have 18 sewer improvement district projects on the books. Not all here, obviously. So yeah.
Sorry, I have a quick question to that note. So when you say several sewer improvement projects, we're talking about expanding the city infrastructure so that we're no longer on cesspool and or septic out here, or
Correct,
what are we
yeah.
looking at?
Yeah, thank you. Wasn't clear. So sewer improvement district means we're bringing sewers to unsewered areas. It's not the entire area. It would depend on proximity to existing sewers, treatment plant, pump stations, and stuff like that. So yeah, it does mean bringing sewers.
Mahalo. Sorry, Barry, go ahead.
Hey, Madam Chair and members, hello. Just a couple of water announcements. No main breaks to report in Kahalu'u. We've been having a fairly dry winter. February was 29% of normal. our 5-month moving average was 87%. So it's been a dry winter, which points to a challenging summer. So water conservation is going to be paramount to kind of ride through the summer months there. In terms of like a water audit, that's something that you can do to conserve water and take leaks at your home. There's ways to do that with you're checking your meter and like turning off all your fixtures and then checking your meter. You can find out more information at our website, boardofwatersupply.com /water wisdom. And there's a video there that kind of walks you through how to do a home water audit. And lastly, we're hiring. We have a few open positions. We have some open positions in engineering, information technology, and customer care. So any interest, again, go to our website, boardofwatersupply.com /jobs. And that's my report, and I'll be available for any questions.
Mahalo, Barry. Uncle John.
Barry, to Joe's question about little fire ants and Mauka Waihe'e.
Thank you.
Do you have, you folks have a plan for looking at delimiting the infestation of little fire ants up there? Of course, half of the upper half of Waihe'e, Mauka Waihe'e is PWS, and the lower half from the pump station down or from the swimming hole down to the gate is Parks and Recreation.
Yeah.
What?
Thank you. I don't know. So I'm sending an email to Amy Tsuneyoshi, who was monitoring little fire ants at our facilities and properties. And have we been checking periodically? Appreciate the report that was it an infestation in the Hau'ula area that was reported. So they can start there. We have a few facilities there as well, but yeah, certainly we can check in Waihe'e. Thank you.
Mahalo, Barry. We appreciate that quick follow-up. Board members in person, anybody else for Barry? Board members online, anything else for Barry? Sorry, Barry, I have a quick question. So we're looking ahead to the summer with 27% versus, what did you say, 84% normally for the winter?
No, that's just our 5-month moving average. So the average for the last 5 months is 87% of normal. So we had some good rains in January, but when you average it, so I guess it's from November, December, January, February, March, 87%. Usually winter rains are above normal. We usually get wet winters and the recharging our aquifers so that when we hit the summer months, there's sufficient water levels in our aquifers to handle that. So because we're having a dry winter, it's going to put more pressure on conservation measures this summer.
I see. Okay. And what are we looking at besides community efforts on the more minuscule scale to conserve water for larger commercial operations?
We have what's called a water sensible rebate program that provides rebates to residential and commercial users. So that's on our website as well. We have been doing some outreach, and we've been getting a little bit more response in rebates. We still have our toilet rebate at buying low flow toilets at the Home Depots and City Mills and Lowe's. And we're also working on some custom rebates with the larger users. So been in contact with, for example, Mid-Pacific Golf Course to see if they can reduce their water use. Certainly we've been talking to or sending letters to the Kahalu'u Marine Base, and they've been responding and cutting back their water use and working on recycled water plans. We have the recycled water system in Eva, but it doesn't extend beyond that. So certainly new developments to that they're required to put in water, the most efficient water using devices. So, and then our communications office has been very active in the in the social media space and, you know, doing presentations and talks and stuff to whoever is interested. That communication program will start to ramp up shortly in the spring in advance of summer. So it's on multiple fronts, Chair. If you know, if you have any questions or would like more information, just let me know. And I can
Thank you
forward
so
it.
much. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Uncle Donald Sakamoto. Uncle Donald, did you have something for Barry for BWS? Okay, just kidding. I think his hand is just up. Thanks so much, Barry, for being with us. We're going to move on in the agenda.
Hello.
Hello, Governor Josh Green's office. We have Katie with us here in person.
Aloha, Katie Lambert, Governor's Rep. I'll be sharing the governor's message from the news, which I do have hard copies of. If you'd like one, let me know. I'll pass them out. Otherwise, I will leave them here. Governor's message is, as your governor, I would like to take a moment to share with you what our state has accomplished this past month. In line with my administration's priorities, I have signed an executive order to advance our state's renewable energy initiatives, ensuring we remain on track to achieve our goals. Additionally, I am pleased to announce that we are expediting the state hiring process to fill critical positions sooner to strengthen our workforce and ensure we have the necessary resources to serve our community effectively. I want to express my deepest gratitude to our state employees for your tireless dedication and hard work. Your efforts, ranging from improving our state capital to successfully and safely transporting our burn victims to Arizona, reflect an unwavering commitment to the well-being of our people. It is your hard work that makes a real difference in the lives of our residents. Additionally, I appreciate the invaluable research being conducted to better understand the wellness and resilience of Hawaii's residents. By working together, we can deepen our understanding and how to best respond to the needs of our community. While there are still challenges ahead, I am confident that as long as we work together, we can overcome any obstacle that comes our way. Our strength lies in our unity, so let's continue to stand by each other and remain committed to our shared goals and values. Together, we can build a brighter, more resilient future for our community. There was one question from the last meeting about making sure that the governor knew about a concern about debris from Starlink satellites. So I didn't have a response back from the governors. It was sent out, so I'll follow up on that. Otherwise, I don't have anything else to report. I'm happy to take back any concerns this month.
Anything here? Board members online? Community? Oh, sorry, just kidding. Uncle John.
Katie, Joe has a flyer for a meeting on the 20th, on Thursday, relating to Waiahole Valley, looking at the possibility of hydroelectric power. Since you work at DHHL and DHHL has a number of lots there, it would be great if you folks could participate.
Be happy to.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, no, it's not statement. It's next to state. So I don't know if you heard about the shooting range that's happening in Waikane. It's actually adjacent to state land on one side, HHFDC and City and County Parks Department land on the opposite side. But I'll forward you the information. It's a concern about what's allowed there. No matter what, it's very, very loud. And at least Department of Health, what part of the Department of Health deals with noise?
I can ask.
Part of the Department of Health deals with anything lately. Anyway, thanks.
Thank you, Katie. Moving on to Senator, Kalamai, sorry. Community in person, anything for governor? Community online, anything for governor? Okay, Joe, and Joe's going to make it real quick. Sorry, Katie. One more question.
Aloha. I was just wondering if there is a clearly shared accountability process for the Department of Agriculture for invasive species management. I feel like we're in the situation we are right now because of 10 to 20 years of documented issues. So I was just wondering if that could be shared at some point. Thank you. Yes, the question was what we're asking for, and I think it's accountability for the state of biosecurity so far. Thank you. And also maybe a follow through on some of there's a couple documents that were published in like 2017. There was an audit of the plant quarantine branch that said some pretty wildly distressing things. And there was also another report that was written in, I think they call it the Warrant Report in 2008 that mentioned it was the New Zealand people. They said, even if you did this right, it wouldn't be effective. And it was just a general critique of the biosecurity plan for Hawaii. I think that's a really incredibly important thing for us to take care of. Thank you.
Mahalo, Joe. Sorry, Katie. Okay, thank you so much. Moving on to Senator Brenton Awa's office.
Wait.
Oh, Uncle Ken, you're okay.
Yeah,
What's up, Uncle Ken?
It's Department of Health handles noise issues for the state.
Okay. All right. We hope they do.
Thanks. Ken.
Thanks, Uncle Ken. Moving on to Senator Brenton Owa's office. Makana Lewis.
Hello, Mike Kako. Senator Awa would have loved to share some of these updates with you folks, but also wanted to note that he is currently playing pickleball in Wahiwa with the Ways and Means chair and trying to win the district more money. A few updates to share. Two of our bills have passed the Senate. For the first time ever, a bill to ban foreigners buying ag land, SB 242, passed the full Senate. Also, SB 1582, recognizing the coconut tree as an official sustainable food source. The designation will elevate its importance and allow for funding for things such as combating CRB and planting initiatives. This bill passed the Senate clean 25-0, meaning if the House would leave it untouched and pass it, it will go directly to the governor to be signed into law. Aside from those two bills, the Aina restoration work, Kahalu'u Beach is underway. It began earlier this month through our office as a contractor did some surveying and light removal of trees, hoping to have more of the land cleared within the coming weeks. For some of the community concerns to do with the Kamehameha Waihe'e Road intersection, we got an update from DOT that they will be creating a left lane as you head north going into the Kahalu'u District Park. So there'll be a left lane, left turn. Unfortunately, no timetable has been shared, but we'll update you folks as we receive them. And lastly, one of our pushes in the community with the effective microorganisms shared, I believe, last month with the Genki project and cesspool initiative to possibly treat the cesspools as low as $500 a year. We'll be meeting with our collaborators tomorrow to get more updates on the process to move forward on these specific projects. That's about it right now. We'll keep you folks updated and open for questions.
Mahalo,
Mahalo.
Makana. Uncle John.
Makana, with regard to the Waihe'e Kamehameha intersection, when you come down Waihe'e Road and you're taking a right to go towards Kaneohe, the corner there where there's a drain there, but that corner is kind of rounded right there. Parks Department does not own that corner. DOT owns that corner. And so one idea might be to make a right turn lane so that those coming down Waihe'e Road can kind of take a right turn and merge with the traffic coming from GoGo. So just wanted to mention that. That might be worth taking a look at.
We'll echo that and hopefully get that to Ed Sniffen.
Okay, thanks.
Mahalo.
Hello, my Makana. We have a community member asking if you could just repeat the items for the coconut tree bill.
So 82, which recognizes the coconut tree as an official sustainable food source. This designation will elevate its importance and allow for more funding for things such as combating CRB and planting initiatives. So kind of validating unfortunately having to validate, right, the new and the coconut tree as a food source, which would allow for the opportunities for more funding and more support. And it is scheduled to be heard on Friday in the House at 10 a.m. in Agriculture Department Committee.
Mahalo Makana. Sorry, that's SB 1282, correct?
Yes.
Appreciate you repeating yourself for that for us. That's a really important one. 1282. 1282. Mahalo. Board
Fine.
members online, anything for Senator Awa's office? Seeing none. Community in person. Oh, 1582. Sorry, Joe. You're right. 1582. Yes. Joe, did you have anything for Senator's office? I know you do.
Aloha, I just wanted to, again, double down on checking in to see what the state departments are doing in order to manage the extremely large hau'ula infestation and look for others along the Kahalu'u coast. I do think that our community deserves a lot better than what we've gotten so far. The collaboration that we need to see is going to bring everybody to the table. Just an important thing to follow up on. I also wanted to say that I do think Department of Agriculture has had their foot in the door as a member of the HISC steering committee. So just throwing that out there that we don't need to move HISC into the Department of Agriculture. That seems like an unnecessary administrative hiccup in the middle of a really critical time. So I'm throwing that out there. Thank you. I didn't know about the coconut bill and I like it. Thank you.
Mahalo, Joe. Did you need a response for that, or you just was kind of echoing the manao?
I was wondering if there were any concrete plans to look for little fire ants or support community members in identifying and starting treatment along the Kahalu'u coast for little fire ants.
Okay, I can get some information to you, and I agreed. Sense of urgency needs to be raised for sure. Mahalo.
Mahalo Makana. I believe you can be looking out for a shared email thread from Joe, also CCing Esther and Councilmember Wire and the mayor's office is what it sounds like to me.
Mahalo.
So look out for that in the email. Appreciate it. Community online, anything for Makana, Senator Awa's office? Seeing none. Mahalo Makana.
Aloha.
Moving on to Representative Lisa Kitagawa's office. Do we have anybody from Representative Kitagawa's office? Seeing none. If she comes on or someone comes on, we can come back, circle back to her. Moving on to Windward Community College, Chancellor Artis, are you with us tonight? Okay, don't see her, but if she comes on, we can circle back as well. Kaneohe Bay Regional Council, Uncle Cliff. Nothing from Uncle Cliff. Auntie Rocky.
I brought it to the attention to Spencer last week that Kahalu'u Neighborhood Board needs to choose a representative because at the last Kaneohe Bay Regional Council meeting, which I attended, they called it off because according to Brian Nielsen from the DLNR, he said that we didn't have quorum. I'm not on the board, but the purpose why they didn't have a board is because the majority of the board was their term was up, and that's the Kahalu'u Neighborhood Board, the Kaneohe Neighborhood Board, the recreational fishing, the recreational boating. Actually, almost the whole board was not legal, so they didn't have a meeting. So today I went to the Capitol, and they did swear in Frederick Poon to represent HIMB, and Cedric Riddleman reinstated to represent the fishermen, and Nico Kalohiva to represent the recreational boaters. So that's only 3 people. So they need a quorum. So it's important because it has to choose these representatives before the legislation is over, because it has to go to the governor's office. What happens is our board recommends somebody from our board to represent us. Then it goes to the governor's office for an okay. then the governor's office is the one that makes the recommendation to the Senate. And it has to go before the Senate for the Senate to pass them out to make a board. So I was hoping we had been on tonight's agenda, and we should have, because the legislation is going to be over in the first week in May, and it's going to be too late for the
Okay.
next meeting.
Mahalo, Auntie Rocky. We don't have it on the agenda, but I would like to make a motion to add it to our agenda in board business as letter G.
I second that.
Okay, any abstentions, board members in person or online? Okay, great. We have quorum and we pass that to add that item to our agenda in board business, letter G, with more than a 2/3 vote. During board business, not right this second. During board business, not right this second. Mahalo. Anything else for Kaneohe Bay Regional Council, Auntie Rocky, that you want to report from any
No,
of
but
that?
as soon as they have a quorum, because Brian Nielsen said he talked with the governor's office, and we don't want this, they can sunset it, and I think they might be looking into sunset, and we don't want it to be sunsetted because we need that council.
Okay. Sorry, Katie, did you get all that? Okay. Mahalo, Auntie Rocky. Anybody have any questions for Auntie Rocky or Uncle Cliff? Board members in person, board members online, community in person? Yoni, go ahead.
Just if anybody can provide information for the regional board, I may consider it.
So we'll get into that more in letter G, but just questions about
Okay. Yeah,
any
yeah,
of the
that's
other
all.
related. Okay. Thank you.
Roger that.
Mahalo.
Can I make one more remark
Yes.
that was made by Senator Lorraine Inouye?
Yes.
She commended the Kaneohe Bay Regional Council and she commended the community of Kolapoko because she says she wished, she had asked the Department of Land and Natural Resources if there was any other councils like that. Because they should use the Kaneohe Bay Regional Council as an example for the state. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Auntie Rocky. Righty. Community members online, anything regarding Kaneohe Bay Regional Council? Seeing none. Moving on to our U.S. Congress Representative Jill Tokuda's office. Do we have anybody from Jill's office? Hi, Emily.
Yes. Hi, aloha, chair and members of the board. Congresswoman Tokuda has an upcoming town hall tomorrow, and it is a telephone town hall. So that means anyone can call in at 833-946-1568 or listen live from Facebook. We are requesting RSVPs on her website, and so this telephone town hall will take place tomorrow night, 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. And I'll put more of the details in the chat. She'll also be hosting additional in-person town halls elsewhere throughout her district, on Maui and Kauai, and then Kona, and later Waianae. Congresswoman is currently in DC. Yesterday, she voted no on the House funding bill because it would cut veterans' benefits by $23 billion, cut $700 million from housing and other things, while boosting defense spending. She also opposed the earlier budget resolution that passed the House because of the cuts it would mandate in Medicaid and SNAP, which would potentially affect 350,000 people in Hawaii who rely on Medicaid for healthcare, and 82,000 from food benefits. She continues to demand information on how Musk's fork in the road email would affect federal agencies, and also how various cuts to agencies and departments are impacting critical work here in Hawaii. She has on her website a place where you can share your stories. We've received a lot of stories so far, and if any of you also have stories to share about how you were personally impacted by either terminations, from funding freezes, or cuts to lifeline programs like Medicaid and SNAP, please share them on her website. And lastly, she will be taking appropriations and community project funding requests on her website as well. I will post more information on that in the chat. But thank you.
Mahalo, Emily. Quick question. So Congresswoman voted no to the funding bill. Thank you for that. Do you know what the outcome was of the total vote for that with the funding bill?
I don't know the total number at this time, but I know that it did pass the House and it's currently sitting with the Senate.
Mahalo. Board members in person, anything for Rep. Tokuta's office? Online? Community in person? Community online? Appreciate it. Thank you so much for being with us. Moving on to Kaneohe Marine Corps Base, Auntie Christie.
Good evening, Board, Chair, Community. Christy Kaluhiba, Marine Corps Base, Hawaii. I have actually several things, but two key topics that I'd like to start with are I have information that I have left over here on the table, and I would encourage everybody to please take it. The Navy has put out an EA regarding the revitalization, the reconstruction, and the turmoil.
Can you see who else is in here? No, mute the mic.
I'm sorry.
No, Kalamai, everyone, if you could keep your computers or phones muted. Thank you.
The hangar. Thank you for that time. So all of the information is there. There is a QR code and a quick link for to submit comments. So I encourage everybody to pick up one of the flyers, have that quick link, also the email, and submit your comments and questions if you have any. To go back to the Marine Corps base, we also have an EA that is being released, and that release will be April 8th. I'm giving you folks the heads up because I'm actually really excited to tell you this. It is our water reclamation. Yes, yes, I knew you folks would be excited about it. So that release for public comment is going to be April 8th. So I'm letting you folks know way in advance. I have information I'm going to send to you folks so that you'll already have it in the pocket. Obviously, you know that the big encouragement for this is that reuse of that water, and it will, minimize the use of the drinkable water. But I will send that to the board. Again, that's released on April 8th with comments being completed by May 8th. So along with that, all the good things, February was really busy. I just have to share with you folks that we did a lot of community engagement. We had Kumuhula Manu Boyd and his halau come. They've requested to see several of the cultural sites that he has done mele and composed dance for. Some of his halau had never visited these spaces that they've danced to, and they wanted to make that connection. And so we took them to 4 key locations. Lily Kala also was there in attendance, which was very, very meaningful. I was in awe. We went to Hawaii Loa, Ulapa'u, Ku'au, and Hawaii Loa. And in each of those locations, they were able to share a lot of Hawaiian cultural history and other mo'olelo. So it was very deep and meaningful. His halau had to do research on Mokapu, and they provided me with a book this thick of all kinds of information. And I looked through it and I found the Williams, which you had shared with me, which is my family. But anyway, but I know we had talked about that before. Again, we very busy. Makahiki was during Valentine's weekend. And with that, I'd like to share that upcoming opening of Makahiki, which will be in the middle part of October, which we want to be able to have a relatively large one with an increased invitation out to more of the community. This will be the last Makahiki that Colonel Bevan, who is our current commander of the installation, will be there. He has attended the closing, but never an opening. So again, we would like to make this one large, and those community members who have been instrumental in organizing this, it's been two seasons that they've kind of come back together and been able to, after COVID and not having access, been able to reconnect everything. this weekend, Kahalu'u Moku Voyaging Academy will be sailing into Mokapu and spending the night. And their students will do an educational exchange with the Mokapu Elementary. So lots of community engagement, lots of opportunity for shared space and building a stronger relationship. But of course, the EAs. Any questions?
Mahalo, Auntie Christy. Sorry, Uncle John. Auntie Christy, could you just go over the details again of submitting comments for the EA to support? I'm going to strongly urge community to support that Marine Corps Base Hawaii is awarded their reclaimed water status from Department of Health. This is something we've been waiting for a really long time. I can't remember exactly, but I believe it's something like 11 million gallons of potable drinking water goes to water Marine Corps Base Hawaii's golf course. And if they get this reclaimed water status, that's 11 million gallons that we're saving a month. So whenever that comes up, I strongly, strongly, strongly urge community to go right in and support that. Sorry, Auntie Christy, could you give those details one more time?
The release date of that viewing of the EA is April 8th. So you will have from April 8th to May 8th to review and then submit comments. I will email, because you can quick link through a QR code and a quick link just to open it up. Technology when it works great, so that you can review and send comment and support.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Auntie
And
Christy.
you please feel free to email me if there's any questions or anything.
Thank you. Can we add that? Parker, if you're online, I would like us to add that to next month's agenda for board to take action in support of MCBH receiving their reclaimed water status. Just making a note.
If you would like somebody to come and talk about that, I can ask.
That would be good. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Auntie Christy. Uncle John.
Yeah, thanks. There's all kinds of stuff going on. I wanted to know about the, I believe it's a wave energy project that has that thing that's parked out there. I can see it from Waiahole looking towards Pullman. Could we get some more information about that? I think that's a really important thing for our community to understand. And I'm pretty sure that was Cynthia Thielman's pet project when she was in the legislature. So it would be, if that is, it'd be great to have her come and talk about that at our meeting. But I think it's important everybody sees it. It's out there gleaming in the sun.
The wave energy project, from what I've been told recently, is it was not a success, and they are looking at removing it very soon. They've already got the crane out on the pier there at the marina
Getting ready to take it out.
begin to take it out. Yeah, it was a combination of the University of Hawaii working with NAPAC.
Okay.
And yeah, Cynthia could have been.
Okay, it'd be good to know. Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Auntie Rocky.
You didn't tell me about that, how long we worked on it, conversations on that. Health and Human Services giving them, the authority to have to recycle their water. But it's good to hear. But you forgot one thing. I was honored 2 weeks ago to be invited to the Mokapu, not by her because she didn't go with us, but by Senator Fafella. And Senator Fafella invited me there for a purpose. After talking to him and talking to the commander of the base, he asked the commander of the base, how come there's not a Hawaiian flag? First time he went, and the commander said, well, nobody asked. So Senator said, I'm asking. So the commander said he had to go through all kinds of red tape, even Washington, D.C., to have our Hawaiian flag. Finally, after all these years, many years I've been there, we finally have our Hawaiian flag going up with the American flag, never done before. So I was invited to go to that. And I'm not a morning person, but I have to get up early in the morning to watch them raise the flag. I can hear the bugles every morning from my house, but I've never seen our Hawaiian flag, and that was the first time. What happened is they put it up in August, but it wasn't official. So the commander took it down and folded it up and presented it to Senator Papella, when officially there was just 2 Hawaiians there, 3 Hawaiians, Senator Papella, myself, and this lady, her last name was Kekahuna. One of the streets there in Mokapu was named after her father, who did a lot in Vietnam. And she was able to see a big sign. It was really touching because she had she did a chant and all that. Sorry, Christy wasn't with us, but we went, it was awesome. I felt it was an honor to finally see our American flag go up. I mean, our Hawaiian flag go up with the American flag. I was there every morning, yay. Talked about it along, but never realized it. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Auntie Rocky. That's it's a tearjerker. That's so awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us. Board members in person. Anything else? Board members online. Anything for Auntie Christie for Marine Corps Base Hawaii? Seeing none. Community in person. Community online. Thanks, Auntie Christie. We're gonna circle back now to HPD. We have someone with us. HPD, Sergeant Noguchi, go ahead.
Good evening. Sorry, I apologize for my tardiness.
No worries. Oh, Kalamai, you're muted. Could you unmute?
Sorry. Did you guys get any of that? Sorry.
No, sorry.
I apologize for my tardiness. I didn't know about this meeting, and I guess the lieutenants usually do it, but he's unable to make it. They told me about 15, 20 minutes ago about it. So I have the statistics for February 2025 for Kahalu'u. For motor vehicle thefts, there was 1 this month compared to the previous of 3. Burglaries, there were 2 this month compared to 3 of the previous month. And then for thefts, there were 3 this month for the previous of 12. UEMVs, which is like car break-ins, there was 1 this month compared to 3 last month. And robberies, there were 0 compared to 0. The statistics under theft reflect the following incidents: pickpockets, purse snatchings, shoplifting, theft of vehicle accessories, theft of bicycle, theft from buildings, theft of coin machines, and other thefts. So the information statistically, you can find it on the HPD public website, honolulupd.org. And I'll take any questions. I'll try to answer to the best of my ability if anyone has questions.
Mahalo. I think this is a question. I'm not sure. I have a community constituent neighbor who keeps reporting illegal activities at a 47-720 Lama Lama Place B. And she keeps calling it in, but her calls are not being answered, I guess. So she's wanting HPD to answer her when she calls. I'm not sure how that works, if you can flag that address somehow, if it pops up in the system, or if
you
it's
know what
even
the
feasible.
complaint is? Do you know what the complaint is about?
Illegal drug activities and car shopping in the early morning hours.
So and she sent the complaint to you guys?
Well, she texted me.
Oh, okay.
Because
you can tell
if
her
I'm on
if it's
this-
drug activities,
Uh-huh.
She should contact the Narcotics Vice Division.
So she
what
said
they would do is
she also did that. She also called HFD because she was worried that they were cooking drugs. I'm just passing it along to you folks that if that address comes up, that this is a continued scenario. It's not like a one-off situation that I am getting a plethora of texts regarding.
Mhm. So if it's a drug lab, if she thinks drugs are being made there, that would also be handled by Narcotics Vice. They have a clan lab, a drug clandestine lab unit that investigates those type of things. And we can send the info to crew. If you email me the information, I can pass it along to our crew, and then they can maybe set up an operation. What's kind of difficult is if someone calls with a complaint like that, an officer goes by and like say this caller doesn't want to meet with the officer or provide more information. We just get what's relayed from dispatch. Like for example, my neighbor is doing drugs there's a lot of activity, people buying and selling drugs. Based on that, if we go there and we can't, I mean, they don't do it right in front of us, right?
Right.
So if we don't see that, we can't do any kind of enforcement. So that's why like narcotics would have to set up an operation to go like undercover or send in an informant to do drug buys there, and then they can do enough buys to get a search warrant or something like that.
I see.
For basic responses like that, we can just go, and then if we don't see anything at the time when we go, then there's nothing we can do about it.
Okay. Yeah, that would
But
be
our-
helpful
like
if
our
I could get
crew-
your email.
Our
That'd be really
crew
helpful.
and our crew and narcotics vice are the ones that can do those types of operations to try and get an investigation going on that, whoever the occupants are or whatever. But my email is bnoguchi, NOGUCHI @honolulu.gov.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for that. Board members, Auntie Rocky?
Yeah, this morning on my way into Honolulu, I saw like about 5 policemen talking to this one woman right outside of the Hiakia Pier on the Mauka side. And of course, I said, yay, it's about time, because we see these people all the time. And we've had a lot of theft going on in both Kako'iwi and in the back of our place. I live in the valley. We always hear gunshots, and it's during the nighttime. And we also have partnered with one of the hunters that hunts in Kako'iwi side, and on our side they lay traps because we got sheep over there. Well, anyway, the hunter came one night and told us that somebody stole his camera because he had put a camera, and he said, I got him on my phone. And he went looking for him, he never found him. So
Did he
this
report
is the kind of stuff. Pardon me?
Did he report the crime to us?
Probably because I don't know if he reported it to you, but he was kind of irritated. He may have, because we actually affiliated with Kako'iwi side too.
Okay.
We're working with somebody, we're working with one of your officers on that side.
Okay.
I'm just letting you know, they stopped and talked to the Swahini. I don't know if they arrested her, but it has become a big homeless encampment now in the valley. And I see every day more and more new people. Look like people coming from the mainland, people I've never saw before in my life. Just moving in on there.
So our community policing team, I'll make them aware of the increased, I guess homeless activity that's occurring there, and they're the ones that usually deal with our homeless in the district.
And there's also I know there's drug exchange because we see it when we pass it. Trucks and cars park across on the state park side. They're handing things over. We can see them handing things over to those guys that's in the mountain, and they go back into the mountain.
Yeah, that's another thing that would be handled by the Narcotics Vice Division. If you send in the complaint to Vice, they can do operations where they would do surveillance first to verify that there is a problem, and if possible, they would try and set up an operation to take these people down.
Mahalo for you guys. Good work. And
Thank you.
Mahalo. Uncle Cliff.
Yeah, last week, did you folks go to an accident on YA Road, right in the front of the Kahalu'u Elementary School?
I wasn't working during that time. I'm not sure. I can look into it, but yeah, I don't know if there was an accident there or not.
Well,
Do you know when it was?
Well, I talked to the officer that came the next morning. She was going to, I live right across the street. So she was asking me about that accident. But I didn't see nothing, but they wanted to go to the next house. The next house had a camera on the house, but it wasn't, I don't know, it was facing the wrong way. So
I guess
go
ahead, sir.
So that one was, she said it was a hit and run. The lady was in a crosswalk. So I said, wow, right in front of school. And that's the second one. Well, the first one I know was a couple years ago. The lady was on the sidewalk walking down. And this lady came out of the school ground. She probably dropped her kids off. And I don't know how excited she was, but she just banged the lady. The lady was on the crosswalk walking down the street. She got injured, but this other one, I don't know how bad she was. But the car hit and run. I don't know if they found the car. So
Oh,
that's
yeah.
all I
Not okay.
was that.
Not knowing what specific incident you're talking about, or I'm not aware of any accident that was there. I don't know. I can't give you an update on the case if I don't know which one it is. Sorry about that.
Uncle Cliff, we'll follow up.
I can look it up
HSD
for
will
the
follow
next
up and
meeting.
HPD will follow up. Yeah, they'll follow up. They'll give us some information next time. Thank you so much. Keone for HPD.
Sorry. Hey, I wanted to bring something to attention. So over the last few weeks, there's been a driver on the road. He drives it's like a silver Honda Accord, and it's smashed in the front. If I'm not mistaken, the license plate is WVE 108. So my experience with this person was I was leaving my neighborhood and he was in front of me and he was like really riding the person in front of him and like swerving all over. We reached by where Auntie Rocky lives by the beginning of the straightaway to the Bahia Boat Harbor. And he raised his hands up at me and then he pulled over into the oncoming traffic lane and put on his hazards. And then he came up behind me and started doing it, driving all sporadic. And when we got to the King School light, he then drove around me and ran the red light. And there were like kids at the crosswalk. And he ran the red light and he started driving crazy again. And then I reached him again at by the mall stoplight, and I pulled up on the side of him. I was like, "Hey, what's your deal?" You know, and like he started threatening me and stuff. The reason I'm bringing it up is because it was a few days later. There was a video on social media of the same guy doing the same thing. So I'm just curious, like, is HPD here in Kaneohe aware of him? Because I would just hate to see what I saw, but it being the worst case scenario in front of King School. He like it was like an extremely red light. We were like dead stop red light, and he just like blew right through. So I was just curious, like, have you guys heard any reports of this person, or what? Because I'm just I'm concerned because I'm sure that not just my kids, but a lot of the people I know in the community's kids go to school there or in that area, and just in the public in general. And yeah, just curious.
Mahalo, Keone. Can you repeat the license plate number for HPD and then take, I would send in that mo'olelo
Yeah.
to Officer
So
Noguchi.
what I can do is you're at the Kaneohe Police Station, right? I'm going to confirm the license plate number because the video has it like clearly as day, and then I can just call into the police station and just let you know who I am and just give you that information, right?
Okay.
We have
Yeah.
Sergeant's email, so maybe go ahead and email it to him.
What?
He gave it to us a
Okay,
minute
yeah.
ago.
So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's WVE 108. It's a more newer model, like earlier mid 2000 model Honda Accord. It has a smashed front end, and the guy is clearly on drugs, like clearly on drugs. Even in the video, you can see like he's on drugs. And I'm just like, I just wanted to put it out there if you guys
Keone.
haven't heard anything about it
Keone.
yet.
Follow
But
me, Keone.
that's all.
For the board's sake, I'm just going to call that speculation because we can't make those kinds of
Okay, I
those kind of
apologize. Yeah,
accusations.
speculation. You're absolutely correct. I take back that statement. But he's not okay to be driving.
Okay, Keone. So what I can do is, I guess once we confirm that license plate, I'm not aware of this. anything with this guy, but I can send this information out to the district so that
Okay.
they'll be aware, like the patrol officers will be aware of it. If they
Okay,
see
cool.
it, we can, I mean, if there's damage to the front or something wrong with the vehicle, we can, that would be enough to pull it over, right? And at least we can
Yes, yeah.
find out who this guy is and maybe counsel him or give him some tickets or whatever, see what's going on with him. But once we get that license plate confirmed, I'll send it out to the watches and to be on the lookout for this hazardous driver.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll get that license plate number confirmed, and then I'll shoot you an email. I'll get the email from the board after, and then yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there.
Mahalo,
Okay,
Keone.
thank you.
Uncle John.
Thank you.
Yeah, just real quick, if I can add, Clifford's concern about the people speeding on Waihe Road and potential accidents. There was discussion back in May of last year between HPD and a gentleman by the name of Layden, Layden Akasaki, who is with the City Department of Transportation Services about speed tables in Waihe. And so I think with Mr. Babcock here, and then folks online with the councilman's office and HPD to maybe follow up on the status of those speed tables would be really helpful. So again, Layden Akasaki with Department of Transportation Services.
Mahalo, Uncle John. Any other board members online? Community in person? Community online? Sorry, HPD, I know we gave you a lot of things there, kind of threw a lot of things at you. If we could get follow up on that next meeting, we'd appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
I
so
have
much.
the homeless, just to double check, because I hope someone was keeping notes. There was homeless at Heiake Pier. I guess the accident near that school, Kahalu'u Elementary, was it? And the speeding, I guess that goes hand in hand with that. And for the hazardous driver, with that Honda Accord, and then, well, I guess for the speeding, it would be with the speed tables and all that stuff. As far as that Heiake Pier one, I'll try and check with our crew units. Well, I have probably the lieutenant's going to be at this meeting the next time, and we'll see. They can give you an update as much as they can, because like operational safety and stuff, they really can't divulge too much if they are doing operation there. But we can just maybe update you that we are doing something.
Mahalo.
Sergeant.
Mahalo.
Oh,
Mahalo for sharing
sorry.
your address.
It's WVE 641. Sorry, I got the numbers mixed up. WVE 641 confirmed.
Okay.
Mahalo,
Okay.
Keone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Mahalo,
you.
Sergeant. Appreciate it. All right, we're moving on to community presentations. The agenda says 10 minutes. If we can try to condense each to 7, just so we have time for a Q&A. Our city and state official reports took a little bit longer than anticipated. So first we have Roger Babcock for the sewer rate increase presentation.
Thanks. Good evening. My name is Roger Babcock. I'm with the Department of Environmental Services. You folks need handouts, board members, or did you get?
It would be helpful.
Your help?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. There's some up here and I have lots more if you'd like to have a handout. So thanks for having me here this evening. It's one of only 3 neighborhood boards that I haven't been to yet to talk about this. We've also had 9 town hall meetings, 1 more tomorrow night, 1 more next week, and the other neighborhood boards, the rest finishing up this month. So I'm here to talk about sewer fee increase that we've proposed to City Council. Yeah, thanks. There's a lot of information on our website. Just first of all, though, Department of Environmental Services is wastewater and solid waste. So we collect your rubbish and we take care of your sewage. So we're sanitation. All forms of sanitation are with environmental services. It's broken up into two things: wastewater, which is an enterprise service like Board of Water Supply. That means that it's based on fees that we collect only. So in other words, all other functions of the city are paid for out of real property tax that everybody pays. But wastewater and Board of Water Supply don't get any money from property tax. So everything, our expenses need to be met by, our revenue requirements need to be met by sewer fees and nothing else. So what that means is when expenses go up, we need to raise the sewer fees. Just to give you a little bit of information about the size of our operation, it takes about 800 people to do the wastewater side, about another 400 people to do refuse. On the wastewater side, we have 2,100 miles of sewer pipes, 71 wastewater pump stations, and 9 wastewater treatment plants. The nearest one to here is the Kahalu'u Ikahi plant, which is right next to the Marine Corps base plant as well. And we share an ocean outfall together with the Marines. The last time sewer fees were increased was on July 1st of 2016. So coming up on 9 years since sewer fees increased. It might not seem like like maybe the fees have gone up before that, but it has been that long. However, as you know, prices of everything have gone up. We're paying our people a little more. Electricity costs have gone up a lot, diesel fuel costs, and all other consumables that we have to pay for. So what we do is we also have to do repairs, rehabilitation, and upgrades of all those things that I mentioned, all those miles of things and 50,000 manholes, et cetera. As well as our pump stations and our treatment plants. And so in addition to just sort of routine upgrades and repairs, we're also updating things to newer technology that's more energy efficient, use less resources, use less chemicals, et cetera. We're also always faced with new regulations, so we have to do additional levels of treatment. So at the Ikahi plant, for example, right now we're constructing a new disinfection system at the plant. We have a project there going out to bid, which is a repair and rehabilitation of the bio towers that are there. There's also that's going out to bid right now in the spring. We also have a big project on the dewatering facility at that plant. So there's multiple projects going on at that plant and at all our plants that are required by various regulations. So that's kind of what we do. And I mentioned some projects at the Ikahi plant. We have to do a lot of capital projects. So there's two types of funds that are needed for operation like that. We have operation and maintenance funds, and then we have construction projects. So those are two types of projects. So operation and maintenance, that's basically salaries and wages for all those people I mentioned. Probably a lot of you know somebody that works for the city, maybe even us. And then there are current expenses, which are all utilities and all those other things and things that we have to buy. And those, and then the other big category of costs is construction. And unlike the rail project, which is all paid for with cash based on excise tax collected, when that project is done, it's fully paid for. All other types of projects that the city does is paid for with debt. So we sell municipal sewer bonds every year, and we pay for our construction projects with that money. And then it's like a mortgage. They're 30-year bonds, so we pay principal and interest payments on those for 30 years. And every year we're issuing more debt, and we're paying off debt at the same time. So the two main components then are operation and maintenance and debt service. So we're continuously paying. It's about 50-50 of our budget is debt service and operation and maintenance costs. So as we do more projects, we have to issue more debt, and so we have more payments to do. But also that means that you don't have to raise fees as much because you're paying for things over time. And that is a valid thing to do because this infrastructure has a very, very long life. So you don't, it's not right for everybody to pay for it that's here now because people are going to benefit from it for 30 years. So it makes sense that we pay for it over time. But anyway, those combination of new projects and existing expenses and existing debt service means that we need to raise rates. And the rates that we propose a 10-year rate package. And I'll explain real briefly why that is. There's something called a consent decree, a federal consent decree that the city entered into in the year 2010. It's a 25-year consent decree. And it consisted of 3 phases, split up into 3 phases. We're given 10 years to do 146 sewer projects. That's collection system, pump stations and stuff like that to prevent or reduce sewage spills. 10 years to do those projects, spent $1.4 billion, all on time and on budget. Then the second phase was to upgrade our large wastewater treatment plant in Eva Beach called the Honolulu Wastewater Treatment Plant. That needed to be upgraded to secondary treatment. That was about a $1 billion project. It needed to be finished in 14 years. So we're given until 2024, which is last year. Project was finished. It's working great. It's a really nice plant. Final project, which are given the full 25 years to complete, is the upgrade of the Sand Island Wastewater Treatment Plant. That's the large treatment plant in urban Honolulu near the airport. And that project is now under construction, but we need the rest of the next 10 years actually to finish that project. So the consent decree ends in 2035. It kind of wipes the slate clean of all previous problems that the city had, and lawsuits and violations and stuff. You remember the sewer spill in Waikiki into the Alawai Canal? That was right before the consent decree was negotiated based on that and a bunch of other things. So this finishing that project and in the 10 years is we'll sort of finish all that by 2035. So that's kind of why we have a 10-year rate package. So the numbers are 9%. We need to raise the rates 9% per year for each of the first 6 years, the next 6 years, beginning July 1st of this year. And then 8%, 7%, 6%, and 5% out to get to 10 years. So that's what we have proposed to council as what we need to maintain the revenue. So that's required for us to do our work. There's 2 things I'd like to point out that we've done differently in what we've proposed. One is a customer assistance program. So we've never had a customer assistance program before. It's aimed at lower income folks that would be most impacted by the sewer fee increases. And it is to qualify, you'd have to be at 80% or less of the area median income. Then you'd qualify for $20 to $25 per month credit on their base charge. And I'll explain what that is in a minute. And so that's a new program. And there would be tens of thousands of folks of homeowners who potentially could qualify for that. Maybe 15,000 residents homes could qualify for that, and as an estimate. The other thing is we're changing the fee structure. So the wastewater fees, you might know from seeing your bill, this is what my bill looks like, and this is what everybody's bill looks like, right? The Board of Water Supply is on the left column, sewers on the right column. That's the Sand Island Wastewater Treatment Plant, that picture that's up there. And I'm not sure what waterfall that is. Might be one over here. But anyway, it shows you your bill, and the bill consists of 2 parts, a base charge and a volumetric charge. So a base charge doesn't change every month. Everybody pays the same amount. It's $77.55. It's been that number since July 1st of 2016. Then there's a volumetric charge, which is $4.63 per 1,000 gallons of water used. So you're purchasing the water from the Board of Water Supply. They have a meter that calculates how much water you use. They give that meter information to us. And let's say, and the average, the median is 6,000 gallons per month. So we take that number and we multiply it by 0.8, which means that we assume 80% of the water that came into your house becomes sewage. 20% is for your outside irrigation. So we give you a credit. We assume that you're using 20%. Whether or not you use 20%, it doesn't matter. You're getting the 20% credit. You could use zero, and that if you don't have any sprinklers, you don't need to. You still get the 20% credit. And then that number of thousands of gallons that remains is what you're charged, $4.63 for every 1,000. So if you work it out, on average, about 75% of the bill is the base charge, and only 25% is the volumetric charge. So what that means is it doesn't value water very much, or water conservation. So we had an advisory group, and they recommended that we change that balance to make the value water more and reward water conservation. So what that means is the base charge essentially is going to stay flat for a while, and the volumetric charge is going to go up a lot. And that's the way Board of Water Supply rates work as well. The more water you use, the more you pay. And so folks like that, and it does promote water conservation, which is important for Board of Water Supply and for all of us. So we're changing that to a 50-50 structure. And the one handout does show you some sample bills of what that actually means, depending on how much water you use. And I can go over that in a second, but that's important feature. So those two features are new and something that we've proposed to switch with the new rates. The last thing, if you'll let me say a couple more things, is this handout is a very good thing to look at because it actually shows what people pay now and what they'll be paying in each of the next 10 years. Over the 10 years, the rates do increase, like I said, 9%, but it really depends on how much water you use. So not everybody's going to pay 9% more because of that volumetric shift. So this chart shows by year the fixed charge and the volumetric charge. So I'll just give you an example. Some people use only 2,000 gallons of water per month. We call them a low water user. Could be just a couple living in a house and don't use very much water. 10% of all customers, we have 150,000 customers. That's not people, that's meters. Use that amount of water. Their current bill is $84.96 per month for sewer only. And with the first increase that comes along, their bill will go up to $87.65. So it's $2 and some change. The next year, it goes up to $90.14. So another $2.50. And so it continues like that, about $2 more per month. So, for some people, the increase will be hard to notice in terms of how much their bill goes up. If you go up to the median means half the people use that much or less, and half the people use more. That's 6,000 gallons a month. That turns out to be what's on my bill here. And that's basically $100 a month right now, $99.77. So this year it will go up by $7.50 per month. And then the next year it goes up another $7.50, et cetera. So it's a little bit more, but it's it's something that it takes a long time for the increase to take effect. It's fairly gradual. There's another number shown on here. It's 9,000 gallons a month. That's 70% of people use that amount or less, and 30% use more. And you see for them, though, their increases are quite a bit more. Per month, it's $12 per month. It goes up every month. But in the end, their cumulative amount is 124% increase over the 10 years because it compounds. So they're paying more because they're using more water. If you go out to people who use really a lot of water, they're going to pay a lot more. And that is intentional. That's the way they wanted it. And that seems to be the way council wants it as well. So you can see more like close to 200% for the top 2% of water users, the highest water users. And just so you know, the 9,000, it was 124% total. For the 6,000, the median, it's 104%, so it's less. And for that low water user, it's only 70% increase over the full 10 years. So a lot of numbers. Hopefully that's not too confusing. There is more information on the website was shown there, but I'd be happy to answer any questions that you guys have.
Thank you, Roger. That was very thorough. I I have a question about the volumetric rates going up. Is that only on the sewer portion of the water bill or the total BWS water bill of water usage?
Yeah, good question. So the Board of Water Supply bill is totally separate. They do have a 5-year rate increase package that's in effect now. So it is going up a little bit each year. Their structure is completely different. They have an inclining rate, block rate charge. And so their numbers are totally different. We only have one charge, one number for volumetric. It's constant no matter how much you use. So
Within the sewer portion
with
of
just the
that water
sewer
bill?
portion, yeah.
Okay, so
So
that
the
was
sewer portion is based on your water.
usage, right? But this is the lump sum that is when it's delegated on the bill, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
got it. Great, thank you. I do have concern in this area for people that have farm type operations when they're washing, their produce and things. Can you elaborate? What are we
Yeah,
looking
thank
at
you.
there?
That's a great question. And I think on this side, a lot of people aren't large water users, right? You get a lot of rain. We get a lot more questions about that on the west side where it's dry and people feel like they got to irrigate a lot. So we do have what's called a sub-metering program. So all farmers should be on a sub-meter program. So what that means is we make that assumption that you're using 20% of your water for irrigation or farming or something that's not internal that's becoming sewage, right? So we're assuming 80% is becoming sewage. So if you're a farmer, you would have a meter on your water use for your farm. And then that's an approved meter. We approve it and then it's at your house or your farm or whatever. And every month you take a reading of that and you email it in to EMV and we calculate your bill based on that amount. So take your total water that was from Board of Water Supply. We subtract that meter amount. It could be 90% of the water you used if you're a farmer went out there. So you're only going to be charged for the amount that was not used outside.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
One more question, if I may. The assistance program, I think that's great. What was the manao between deciding the $20 to $25 credit there for the fixed rate for those in need?
Yeah, so the exact number hasn't been determined yet. So it's just kind of what we're thinking is between 20 and 25. It's going to depend on kind of how many people qualify, how many people we can get to enroll in the program, and to be able to try and make a difference, for people.
Might
So-
I recommend just a quick one, just
Sure.
because you're looking at a difference from the current all the way down to 2034 of $36.66. If you offset that total cost within that program, maybe even give an extra, just make it a flat 40 so that it can be applicable to a portion of their volumetric bill that you may have more people enroll in the program and you would actually see a financial difference for those that are actually in need. I don't think $20 to $25 is really gonna make a big change for those who have that financial need.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's a good point, and customer assistance programs are very interesting because it's not in ordinance, so we can adapt it and change it and do whatever we want to make it be effective and reach the people that need to be reached, right? And so we're modeling it after the Rental and Utility Relief Program, the RURP, that was during COVID. It was run by the Office of Economic Revitalization. And so we're planning to we have an RFP, we're working on an RFP. We get the same vendor, probably the same vendor with Catholic Charities and CNHA did that work. And so they've got all the contacts. So they know who the people are already. And so we feel like it should be a really easy program for us to do. And their job actually was what they did is they helped people fill out the forms. They went out, they knocked on doors. They actually got people enrolled in the program and keep them enrolled. So we feel like that we have a pretty good, because of all that work that was done, we have a pretty good chance of having it be very successful. With respect to the amount, it's a good point, and we don't really know yet what's going to be an effective amount, but it really does depend on how much water you use. If you didn't use, if you're a low water user, say Kupuna with fixed income and stuff, it could wipe out your increases for a number of years actually compared to what you're paying today. So it is a fairly substantial, I think, thing. But it will be with any program like this, it is always a challenge to get people enrolled. Yeah.
Mahalo.
Because
Okay,
it's work, and sometimes you have to give some financial information. And,
understandable.
yeah.
Board members in person, Uncle Cliff, you have something?
Yeah. Your department take cares manhole sewer line too, right? Oh,
Yeah, just the wastewater,
Yeah.
not the stormwater. Yeah.
oh, okay. Because my question is, most of those highways, city and state, that been paved 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times already. 99% of those manholes, they all drop. They all drop. In fact, the worst one is on city roads. You like Kahalu'u Street. They just resurfaced the road. The guy come dig up the manhole. So the question is, do your inspectors know what they're doing? Or out there on the job,
Mahalo, Uncle Cliff.
checking the manholes?
Yeah, it's a good question. We, I know because I always sign off on the final, when a project's finished to release their bond and their, the amount that we withhold on a project. And so they, it is inspected, and unless everything has been met, every single manhole meets what's in the contract, we won't pay them.
The reason I asked is because I know the city pays the contractor real cheap as the lowest, for raising manholes and water valve for the city. And if the contractor can raise them, if they can do 20 manholes a day. You start at 9 and off the road by 3. If you can do 20 manholes, the company probably just making money.
Mahalo, Uncle
So
Cliff.
like most of the contractors, that when the city, state, or federal contract out, 99% of the contractors they're gonna take the lowest bidder. It's just like how the rail. So now, a good example, the rail, they went the lowest bidder. But now at the end zone now, how much money did they make?
Okay, mahalo, Uncle Cliff. We're gonna move on a little bit. Okay. Thanks, Roger. Board members online. Anyone for Roger for that very thorough presentation? Seeing none. Community in person? Community online? Uncle John, you have a quick one?
Yeah, just thanks very much for the presentation. I think this is really important for us to understand. Yes, a lot of numbers. The big impact of this will be, ideally, environmental. And I think that the more we know about that, the better. What we know is that from Wimanu through Waiahole, for example, biggest concentration of cesspools and so on. And
Yeah.
so the more we can get, we were always worried about sewer lines going further and further, bringing more and more development. At this point, I think the question is, how do we get the existing development onto those sewer lines? The other kind of big question I have is, how is sea level rise going to affect the work that you folks have done?
Yeah, thanks for that question. And we do have the sewer improvement district projects, as I mentioned earlier. We have a bunch of those projects to bring sewers to different neighborhoods. Not everybody's going to get sewers though, because some are just too far away, right? And we're probably not going to build new treatment plants. But sea level rise is a big concern. It's impacting mostly our infrastructure in town. Our pump stations, a lot of them are right on the beach. And so those we know we have to either elevate. Some we're going to close and move. Other ones we're going to protect, which means walls. But at like the Sand Island wastewater treatment plant, for example, ground surface elevation there is 8 feet. So we are raising all structures, all new structures and stuff that are built there, and walls are at 16 feet above main sea level. So that's to account for sea level rise for about 100 years, as well as tsunami and storm inundation. And so it's high enough to be protected for that. That's really the biggest one where needs to be something. Kahalu'u plant, it seems like it's right next to the water, but it's actually up pretty far. It's well out of the sea level rise area. But there are other infrastructure areas where other infrastructure, like some pump stations, which will need to be addressed. Luckily, sea level rise is slow, insidious thing, but it is very important. We have a lot of studies that predict when we need to do stuff. And so we program the upgrades to be able to handle that. And you're right about just want to affirm what you said about the environment and the additional treatment that we have to do. That is why we have to do it. This comes from EPA and Department of Health. The upgrades we need to do, it's always more treatment, less pollutants going out into our bays and into our nearshore water and stuff like that.
So I live in Waiahole Valley from Kahalu'u, from the bridge here on out, there are no sewer lines.
No sewers.
Will you folks be the ones addressing systems that might come online to help those communities as you go down the coast? There could be probably independent systems. And what should we be looking at? There's a lot of conversation about conversion of cesspools.
Yeah.
Big question in my head is conversion to what?
Conversion to what? Yeah. So we're talking about that. Our primary responsibility would be to those that are connected, to the sewer and trying to keep up with everything with respect to that. We have some ideas and some proposals and some studies underway with respect to cesspools. Right now, as I mentioned, the sewer improvement district, those are all within existing sewer basins, essentially. The unsewered areas within an existing sewer area or sewer shed, we'd call it a sewer watershed. So all those projects are within there. They don't reach out further. But we are looking at that as well and some options, and then trying to figure out whether financially the city can do that or would need to be, or it's going to be left up to the homeowners. Yeah.
Mahalo, Roger.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. Could you stick around if you have time for this next presentation, if we have any technical questions?
Yep.
Thank you
Can
so
do.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to move on in our agenda to the SMA major application presentation for TMK 14-7-014:010. This is James Sippin. Sorry if I said your last name. Yeah, Sippin. Okay. And then Mark Howland, we had them last month, but we asked for a more thorough presentation to understand some of the nuances in the flood zone area. Thank you for being with us here today. We're pulling up your presentation.
Hello, Chair, board members. This is James here for me. Lewin. This is going to be his retirement property.
Sorry, if I could just get you in the microphone a little bit better so we could hear you better.
Okay, can you hear me better now?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
So as you know, when we do neighborhood presentations, you're towards the point where the information has been distilled down and translated into an SMA application. And you're a very important step in this, where the neighborhood board raises questions, raises concerns, reviews, and then communicates with DPP and or the council as the project goes forward. Next slide, please. DPP requires that the SMA consideration is reviewed by a neighborhood board. This is a photo of the site. You can see it's mostly guinea grass. It's TMK 147-014-010. It's R5 residential district. It's a 30,274 square foot parcel. Has no erosion lot. It's a CPR subdivision. So this is the vacant unit of the CPR. The shoreline unit is already built and occupied. It's a D zone, so it's unstudied flood zone. The proposed action, James would like to construct a single family dwelling on the vacant portion, Laka side of the CPR subdivision, and therefore he's in compliance with the development standards for chapter 21. He's outside the shoreline setback in the SMA district. Has its over 500,000. It's agreed that SMA major will be needed. If one of the current council bills goes through, raising the difference between SMA minors to majors to $1 million, which is proposed and may happen this summer. This may change. But at this point, we're already well into the SMA major procedure and process. We'll stay. Next slide. This is the property. The red dot is the proposed work action area. The existing house, and as you know, the state GIS central property line maps are shifted. They're not correct. They've corrected in some areas of the island. They've not corrected it in this area at all. So the boundaries are shifted in the map. Next slide, please. This is the sea level rise of the property. The portions of it along the southern side of the unit is in the 3.2 sea level rise. However, it's not in the 3.2 erosion line. So with standard provisions for foundation structural strengths, foundation elevations, they deal with staying above potential 3.2 sea level rise with the mean above the mean sea level. This is the proposed layout of the house and septic system on the property. This is a unit that will be built relatively quickly because it's one of the more approved modulars. This is example, it's either fescue grass lawns or guinea grass, basically throughout the entire vacant portion of the lot. The rear, the shoreline, current existing single-family dwelling has a mown lawn, paved driveway, parking space. The soils, surprisingly, are not Jacka sands that we commonly see for this area. They're actually Pearl Harbor clays. So there's not going to be a lot of percolation. There's going to be more rapid runoff. So we've asked in the SMA application that the erosion control sedimentation plan is beefed up, make sure that there's no rapid runoff towards the shore. As you can see on this next slide, this is the 3.2, comes into the work area on the site, encompasses pretty much the existing dwelling, and obviously occupies the shoreline. This is the reason why enhanced foundations have been planned. Architect Sherry Yang is the architect for the property, and she has revised the plans to beef them up as much as possible. This is not one of the studied areas by UH, so there's no erosion rates for the property. This is unstudied area. Even the high wave flooding has not been mapped by UH. Most of the shoreline in Kahalu'u Bay is not mapped, and we're kind of surprised that it's not mapped, but closest thing is on the other side of the marine base where there are shoreline, and most of that's accretion, not loss. Has most of Oahu, it's affected by in a category 4, in lower category 1, 2 storms is not as impacted. It's mostly confined to the shoreline. But in this case, as most of Oahu category 4 hurricanes going to raise havoc, and that's why you have enhanced foundation. Critical habitats up in the mountains, upland forest species, even though we know that Ono and monk seals occupy portions of the shoreline, it's not been designated yet by U.S. Fish and Wildlife to be a proposed critical habitat area, though it should be. We work quite a bit with your neighboring board, the Kailua board, to develop standards that we ask every one of our clients to make sure that they put into the SMA application. They have to agree to these sets of conditions. As I said, enhanced foundations due to dense clays, make sure that there's an immediate halt for 2 reasons. One, if cultural artifacts are discovered, an immediate reporting to Shifty. And number 2, if any endangered species wander onto the property, whether it's turtles, monk seals, shearwaters, whatever, again, immediate halt, and U.S. Fish and Wildlife, Land and Natural Resources contact. And at the start of construction, the biologist will review the site for any endangered species and not allow the construction to start. Dark sky provisions will apply to all lighting to reduce the impact to all migratory birds. that may cross over the area. There's a firm in the Quarry Road in Kailua that has actually started an entire dark sky lighting line. So locally here in Hawaii, these people can buy dark sky lighting materials. SMA acknowledgements have been added, such as liability release to the city and county, saying that if any damage because of climate change happens to property, city and state cannot be sued. The property owner assumes the liability. Clean soil provisions are very important. On all these projects, most of the time, because they're shallow foundations, the excavated soil can be used for backfill. If you pour, for example, a piling, you usually take out about 1.5 feet of material, and the piling itself is about a 1 square foot. And so you have backfill from that 1.5 foot that you backfill a 0.5 cubic foot. If the soil is not suitable, then you have to bring in structural soil from on site. In that case, clean soil provisions need to apply, and they have to agree to it. But it's sent to a lab, it's analyzed, make sure there's no pathogen, no beetles, anything. And so clean soil provisions apply. So as all these boards always ask to keep it as brief as possible, I'll just gladly answer questions.
Mahalo, that was the presentation we were looking for prior. I'm going to open it. Actually, I do just have one question. I can't locate it right now. Do you have your permit application number or your building permit number? Because when I had searched it before last meeting, I had a rejection notice, and I was just curious why DPP rejected it, if it was purely because you didn't first come to us, or were there other notations that DPP had
There's
that they
other
rejected
questions.
it for?
The architect, when she drew the 3.2 line, she just kind of followed the circle, and you're supposed to go straight across. And so she's revised the plan to go straight across. And then he does have the building application. I believe the sewer line has been approved as well, right? The sewer system. Yeah, I'll let Gene.
Well, probably don't know as much as he does. All I know is we did submit all the applications that they asked us to submit. We had a sewer engineer draw up our plans. I think they rejected it firstly because we didn't come to the right place the first time. So that's the number one thing that they didn't get checked off. Went the wrong, this is the first step. And the other things I think are for sure to be fixable. Like the PMK map number was in error currently. And so that's fixed. The other things are with the engineer now, with the architect now, as far as the drawings, and we had another survey done to comply with what DPP wanted, or their requirements seem to change monthly. We just get notifications.
We understand the plight as residents ourselves, the difficulties in working with DPP. Sorry, I just need a minute to read through this. Thank you for that. Board members in person, if you have anything. Uncle John, I'll go to you first.
So this property has been CPR'd to how many different units?
Just two.
Just two.
One is already.
Okay, and what's the septic system for the first unit? Oh,
They have an IWS, individual wastewater.
individual wastewater system, yeah. And so as a CPR, you're going to have a homeowners association.
There is a covenant.
Yeah. And who is the owner of the first unit?
His name is Mr. Cumbria.
Umbria, okay.
I believe Mr. Machado's wife sold the parcel.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then you said something about sewer line, but there is no sewer line.
Okay, that would not require us. That's-
Yeah, Rick Tell's not here tonight, but he's got a pretty strong background in septic systems. What kind of a system are you anticipating?
Dennis Pomo was the septic engineer, who's one of the better septic engineers on this island. And so I believe he's got the, quick, McNulty, Mike, okay. So I believe it's one of the quick flow systems that he's proposing, which is one of the highest standards for systems. So, that's why it's an IWS, an individual wastewater system.
You mentioned not knowing much about the flooding situation in this property. When I was about 16 years old, I saw the entire property underwater. Hygienic store 5 feet deep in water. We know about.
Hello, Mike.
flooding.
Can I interject in that real quick so I don't forget? Is it a non-conforming property? Do you know?
It's going to comply.
No, sorry. It's non-conforming is, it's a terminology we use here because we all live in this flood zone where if you build on that space and say a storm takes it out, where you're no longer allowed to rebuild on it. Do you have any knowledge of that property being within that?
It's a D, it's an unstudied zone.
Okay.
But I think I saw in your notes that the city and the state, you're on your own. If you get flooded, sea level rise, they're not going to back you up, are they?
So DPP has made this a requirement now in all SMAs.
Yeah.
So they even have to have the environmental notes and not just in our narrative. They're also on the plans.
So my interpretation of that is they figured out it's time to do managed retreat. And our community thinks the same way. I think the highest and best use of this property, from my perspective, having lived here for 70 something years, it's a hell of a place to be developing.
Sorry, quick question and also a note for you folks, just so you're aware, because are you currently living in California? Or are you living here and trying to build here? But you're currently residing in California. Okay, so just so you're aware, whenever these SMAs come up, typically we're going to battle a shoreline development, no matter what the case is, because down the road in Kahalu'u, one of our neighbors was forced to remove their home completely, take it off of the shoreline. And we don't only have environmental concerns and just neighboring concerns for ourselves, but for you moving forward, like just as long as you're like hyper aware that that is a real scenario that you could find yourself in. Now, there's already a home built on the actual shoreline there, so it's kind of hard to say, that you couldn't build your home closer to the roadside. But just as long as you're hyper aware that this is really a scenario where our neighbors are retreating back, and that also the Department of Transportation is trying to eliminate doing any type of infrastructure repairs in perpetuity from where we start here at the beginning of the country all the way throughout the district. So you may find yourself in a scenario looped in with our boat.
So I hope you watched Wide News Now this morning, because I was on shoreline erosion issues. We're the only state whose official policy is retreat. Every other state has multiple policies, including mitigation. So I'm a Hawaii rep at the International Erosion Control Association. I'm the only person in the country who's ever won EPA award for erosion control and stormwater mitigation. We've brought in experts from the ICA around the world to testify in front of the state legislature, and Don Chang from Land Natural Resources is showing her willingness at Sunset, where there is huge problems, to try some of the mitigation methods that are not revetments, they're not seawalls, they're soft bioengineering. That's a good solution.
So we appreciate that work here in the country, because we definitely want to keep our country communities. We don't want to be eliminated, right? Just because we live in a more rural district. So we appreciate that work. Real quickly, after going through this, it does look like the majority of the holdup was that you didn't come to us first, but there are some other items. It looks to me like they canceled your application. So are you submitting a new application? I'm trying to understand the process.
It's what they call an incomplete application.
Okay.
It's not rejection. It's basically saying, we want more information, make these corrections.
So you're still sitting in the pre-permitting process. You haven't hit where they're,
Right. We've been waiting for this meeting,
okay,
so we can't resubmit until we've had this meeting.
I see. So you can't
and-
correct
and
any of the other things until after this meeting.
Right, and so Sherry Yang, the architect, has corrected engineering details. So once this means completed, we will then go in with a reapplication and try to satisfy the incomplete application.
Okay, board members in person, Auntie Rocky, you have something, and then Uncle Cliff, I'll go to you.
I have a question. Are you intending to live there? Is that going to be your resident?
Yes,
Oh, nice. You have a large family?
larger than most. I have 3 children and a grandchild. He graduated from college 2 years ago. Would love to live here. That's why we want a bigger home, so that when they come.
We can't hear him speaking. We can't hear him.
Oh, call my Uncle Ken, call my James. Could you, yeah, you can move
Okay.
it too if it's better for you.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Sorry, it's hard because the audio is picking up and we do this meeting hybrid. So
Okay.
Auntie Rocky is curious about your family situation. Will it just be you and your wife or
Oh,
your
no.
partner or?
My son went to UH. He married a girl from there. Her family lives in Manoa, and she works from home mostly. My son is a hybrid worker. He would love to work from home, but things are flexing. A lot of people work from home, 100%. And yeah, I'm going to retire. My wife's going to, not much younger than me, like some people my age, but very young people. But so we're all just gonna hang out in Kahalu'u.
Are you from Hawaii?
I wish. No, I'm Filipino. Ilocos, really. I grew up. My dad was in the Air Force, so we were.
I'm just asking these questions because too many times people come here, and they speculate, buy the property, build a home, and move out, and they don't live in it. I just wanted to know if you're living in it.
We're looking to see, are you planning to be a member of our community or are you just going to be a transient resident is what we're asking.
You only have like maybe 20 years to find out, because like by then I'll be 90. I mean, it's like, it's not like I'm 40 and doing a trans. I'm not going to be that, how you say, mobile.
Mahalo. So yes, so you plan to spend the majority of your retirement here in Kahalu'u with us here at these meetings, fighting the man and keeping our area rural and country.
I could
Is that-
explain.
Is that what we're?
James is a professor at University of California,
I'm a clinical laboratory
scientist at University of San Diego. Where my daughter worked for a while after she graduated from HBU and ran international studies here at HBU. She worked at his college and then went over to Japan. So we understand people retire, and he's owned this property for quite a while and he wants to retire here.
We totally understand that. We just want, I guess, moving into our community, we want you to understand that we're here holding the line. Most of us are generational, either Native Hawaiian and or otherwise here in this space. And so when we have people coming in and on top of that building new in an already kind of sensitive area, we want to know who you're going to be here as part of us. Obviously, you don't have to do all the things that we're doing, but that you're not going to be there making the line and you're going to be towing it with us as well.
I've been a member of the Our Lady of Mount Carmel Church in Waikani. I guess a virtual member, but I go and visit there every time I'm here. I don't know if that matters, but yeah.
For me, none of that matters, to be honest. What matters to me is environmental. What matters to me is that we are in a position already of being under duress as a community with too many septic systems along the coast. We continue to develop along the coast, along the Makai side of the highway. And I think the responsibility of due diligence is on you to know that this is a very different. I've been a proponent of a moratorium on any more development down in the floodplain in this area. And, I think that a really quick look at the background of our community would have alerted you to those kinds of concerns. So, you haven't built yet. I'm not sure what you hope to get out of this neighborhood board. But I can assure you, I'm not going to support any more development down in that area. We cannot afford to have any more individual wastewater systems, any more septic systems in the floodplain from Kahalu'u on. We're already saturated. And when we're a very rainy area and we are flood prone. And so whatever system you might put in, that system, that individual system is going to be under duress, compounded by all of the other systems that are already under duress in our area. So that's my position.
Well, I really appreciate your honesty. I also realize that I'm not ever going to be the owner of this land. I'm just a steward. And I'm only the owner as long as I live. And my children will take over, hopefully, and their grandchildren and their children, my children. So to leave it laying there seems like, I don't know, but I do know that I will.
Mahalo, James. Mahalo. Uncle Cliff, go ahead.
Now, let me get the feel of that property there. You own from the highway to the ocean, right?
No, I own from the highway. It's a CPR lot, yeah. So in the middle, I own the part on the Mauka side. And then there's already a house.
Uncle Cliff,
on the
up to the beige house, you know where the recycling center is? The beige house.
Yeah.
That's not his house. It's the land before that beige house.
So it's from the highway
To the beige house.
to the.
No, to the beige house, Uncle Cliff. Yeah, the
is it
two-story beige house.
driveway? It's
Can you
halfway
pull up
down.
that graphic?
Yeah, let me
Halfway
explain.
mark, yeah?
Let me
Because
explain.
I know the property.
Okay, Uncle Cliff, there, we're gonna pull up the graphic so that you can see, yeah? Tank store, blue store, that strip, the two-story beige house, and then the recycling center. It's just the grassy knoll
Go
in
back to the one
between.
you just read before. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that's,
yeah,
that's the existing house there.
that's somebody else's house, and then
Well, it's
he-
all part of a CPR subdivision. You have to understand, DPP does not recognize CPRs. They consider it a lot. A
Okay.
2-unit lot.
so you have an arrangement
So he
with,
owns the CPR unit that's vacant
I see,
on the highway side. The other half of the CPR two-unit subdivision is the existing house up there now.
and that's not your
That's the
family.
one Shoreline.
That's not your family, that's somebody else.
That's somebody else.
Okay,
So the ocean,
But when you file with DPP, you have to file for the whole thing.
so that house on that ocean side is not yours. No, no, because that, all those lots there was all zoned light industrial.
Yeah.
It was zoned light, I don't know what now, but they changed overnight.
yeah, okay, Uncle Cliff, thank you.
It's R5.
R5 now. Okay, we're gonna go to Uncle John for a quick one, then I'm gonna go to any board members online that have any discussion, and then community.
Well, this notion of DPR, not, rec- DPP, not recognizing individual, what it is it's a CPR. So it's all one lot. But you're allowed to have these 2 different units within that lot. And DPP should be very carefully considering whether or not the infrastructure to support development is there. It's not. There is no sewer line. There is no sewer line. In other areas where there are CPRs, that's what they do. The sewer line and the highway is already under duress again. It's in the flood zone. So those are the things that I think that you need to look at.
You understand, CPR subdivisions are not my favorite at all. In Malakahana, we have the Donisville family is an 8-unit. The Garcia family is a 4-unit. Coney Farms is 26 units. None of them have a septic system. None of them have a septic, public municipal septic system. They all have individual responses. So I understand you're talking about the burden, but that's the reason why he hires professionals, septic engineers to make it so that it works. Rather than what we're working on right now in Sunset, is taking out a cesspool. They're much more dangerous than individual wastewater systems. And so that to me is more concern of making sure that the old units that have cesspools that really cause damage to natural resources are replaced and upgraded.
You're saying the individual wastewater systems are your concern.
They could be concerned if they're improperly designed. That's the reason why you study that they're Pearl Harbor clays rather than Jack sands. It differs on percolation rates. It differs on discharge from the leaching field. It differs on the amount of runoff. On properties like this, as you speak, that flooding, erosion control, surface erosion control, this is as much a concern of silt and sedimentation. This whole philosophy in the highway is of raising the LOI canal up and rushing all the water down to the ocean is ridiculous.
You mentioned that the soils here are not what we would expect.
They're not what I expected. Most of this area from basically down to Kahalu'u are Jack sand. This is one of the few stretches that they cleanse. And that's one of the reasons why you probably see more surface flooding, because it doesn't perk. It doesn't perk well.
Was this property filled previously?
It's unclear. I'm a registered soil scientist in many states, so Hawaii doesn't register soil scientists. We take samples to confirm there are artificial fills that have been brought into the property while the driveway that you can pick up. Where the guinea grass is Pearl Harbor.
Okay. Board members online, do you have anything for Mr. Sippin or for Mark? Uncle Ken.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just want to note for everybody that our time, it's 8:26 and we're going to lose NCO in half an hour. So if we can be quick with our words.
Okay. Sea level rise is real. And the consensus amongst those who are not politically influenced is that that rate of rise is underestimated. And it's getting faster. A second point, technology and technology designed by very good engineers fails in the face of severe weather, and it fails regularly. We have seen it happen in this community. And so anybody who would vote from this community that would vote for your project is not facing reality, because you're not facing reality. There needs, like John says, there needs to be a moratorium on any development, certainly on the Mackay side of the highway, and a lot of places on the Mauka side of the highway. Major work needs to be done, and it's counterproductive to give SMAs on that side, on the Mackay side of the highway. Thank you.
Mahalo, Uncle Ken. Any other board members, comments or questions? Community, do you have anything to input? Community online, anything to input? Okay. One last comment from this guy.
Coastal zone management starts at the federal level. Yeah, there's coastal zone management laws, and whether or not you can hold the federal government to hold the line or not, there's coastal zone management laws at the state level, and then those come down to the county level. But throughout that language, there are these principles that I've always felt are absolutely critical. And that's that within the SMA, within the special management area, within the coastal zone management area, the activity that's being proposed should be dependent upon being in that zone. What's dependent upon being in a coastal zone? Fishing village, fish pond, loki. This activity and much of the activity that has occurred in this flood zone, in this SMA area, up and down this coastline from Kahalu'u going out towards Waihole, is absolutely not dependent upon being in that zone. There used to be a gas station over there. There's a gas station at 7-Eleven. The fuel tank is actually underwater. It's underwater. It's under sea level. Yeah. So let me finish my point here. But the other language that comes through very clearly in coastal zone management laws and SMA laws and so on, is that we need to look at cumulative impact. And cumulative impact is the sum of all of the development, all of the activity that has taken place in that special management area. It's overloaded. We've reached the limit. We are way beyond the limit. So I cannot support this development. I would urge you to look.
I probably shouldn't say this, but I was the hot permit one here. I did over 12,000 permits for the rail. I was also on the hot board of directors, Lisa.
Kalamai, can I just ask real,
Can understand,
Real
can understand what you're saying, but if you look at the SMA application, cumulative impacts have been addressed. Everything, coastal zone management has been addressed.
sorry.
Those are in the application.
Okay.
Cumulative.
I just have a quick question for James. How long have you owned the property for? 11 years. Okay. Do you have another note to add? Okay. We're gonna move on to the next presentation. We're not gonna take any action at this time. You guys just want to hang back for a little bit. Thank you. Moving on to Haia State Park, 6 to 9 month revocable permit issuance to Halau Nohona, Hawaii. Auntie Rocky.
Can I say something? Because
Yeah.
all this other presentations, you supposedly gave us 7 minutes.
Yeah.
The
Take
previous
your time,
meeting,
Auntie Rocky.
but our time is half an hour. These are a little lengthy, and you want to finish by 9.
No. I just saying NCO is only going to be with us till 9, so then we lose the record keeping. We can finish when we finish.
Because I think the most important thing right now is to get a vote on somebody to represent us on the Kaneohe Bay Regional
Okay.
Council.
Okay, so
Because
do you
the
want to
legislation,
postpone this, Auntie Rocky?
if you guys want to, but I think, I would think the priority right now is to get the seat filled.
Okay. So I'm going to move that
We have a quorum.
we move up the Kaneohe Bay Regional Council appointee to right now instead of in board business, letter G. And we can continue on with the agenda as is thereafter. I need a second. And any abstentions? Seeing none. Okay, Auntie Rocky, go ahead.
Okay, do we have a quorum, first of all? Are we gonna move ahead with the Kaneohe Bay Regional Council, or we're gonna go ahead with the Haia State Park?
We're going to go ahead with the Kaneohe Bay Regional Council. We have a quorum.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question? Can the governor, given that they have not acted to,
What,
can they extend the terms of those who
they have already extended.
were in the position who created a quorum?
We tried it and it didn't work because at the last meeting, everybody went. Brian Nielsen said he went to the governor's office and they said the quorum was not legal. So we had to do a new board. I'm not on the board. I don't intend to go on the board,
Yeah.
but I go to all of their meetings.
Okay.
So when I heard, and a couple of years ago, if you remember, I remember because I went to some meetings that they was trying to sunset the Kaneohe Bay Regional Council. And you have to understand that the Kaneohe Bay Regional Council, we have an authority of our own. We're the only bay in the whole state of Hawaii that has that. So it's important, we gotta do it before legislation is over. Because our whoever we're gonna elect tonight will go to the governor's office. We don't know how long the governor is gonna take to okay that. And then he sends it down to the Senate. And if the Senate will hear it again, we don't know that either.
Okay.
So that is important.
However, what do we need to do, Auntie Rocky? What's the procedure for this?
The procedure, I think it's that we would have to nominate somebody, whoever wants to go on it. I'm not gonna go on
So
it.
we
because
want
I
to let
already-
Uncle Cliff nominate then, since you're the existing sitter.
You're gonna let him,
You cannot go back on because you didn't register to come back to the board. So if you're not on the board, you cannot sit the seat. That's the issue that's the conundrum we're finding ourselves in,
Yeah.
right? The board can nominate anybody.
the
Not-
board can nominate anybody. Make sure you get somebody that's effective, because well, all of them tried, and they wouldn't extend it.
Okay,
They
so
said we needed to
so we can nominate a community member, Auntie? We don't have to nominate from someone from
Our board can nominate anybody.
Okay, well,
Just make sure that they're gonna be effective and work for our community.
well, I will let you decide who you think is going to be most effective then.
I cannot say, I'm already on a state board. You cannot sit on two boards at the same time. I'm the Hamoku chair for the state.
Uncle Cliff, you want to Do you want to sit in it then? You still want to sit with Kaneohe Bay Regional Council? Go on, Coach John.
Keone is still on board, I think. Yes. Keone, are you there, Jared?
I think Keone wanted some more information before he committed to something of this.
Cooney, are you there?
Yes, I am. Sorry, I was trying to figure out how to unmute my microphone. Yeah, I would, like Jesse just said, I just need more information to understand what the role I would be sitting in if I were to be nominated would entail, just so that I can
Okay,
get
the
know.
rule is when we created the Kaneohe Bay Regional Council, it was to have a representative for both neighborhood boards, the Kaneohe Neighborhood Board, the Kahalu'u Neighborhood Board, somebody from HIMB, somebody from the DLNR, commercial boaters, recreational boaters, fishermen, and the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. And there's another one too, because the Office of Hawaiian Affairs has been absent too long too. I also brought it up to them that they got to get hip because this is embarrassing. I mean, I go to almost every meeting and they're not there to represent us.
We could nominate Parker from the Office of Hawaiian Affairs.
If I don't know if Parker is on, if he's willing to take it.
I don't know if he's still on, but
He
I'll
can
have a
represent
conversation.
us as a Kaneohe Neighborhood Board.
Could he sit in 2 seats? Can he sit in 2 seats? Could Parker sit as the OHA representative and the Kahalu'u representative or no?
No. But they have
And
other
then-
people from OHA. They have Ku'e. Ku'e can do that from OHA.
Okay.
But if he's willing to sit on the board to represent the the Kahalu'u Neighborhood Board, he can do that.
Keone, does this sound
So-
like something that you're interested in or
Yeah, so
or
I
feel
have
like
another
you have
question.
capacity for?
So they meet once a month. Where is the
No.
meeting?
No, they meet quarterly.
Or
They meet once
quarterly,
every
so
3 months.
every 3
Yes,
months. And
yes.
then where is the meeting? Like, where do the meetings take place?
Meeting
there
is
like a
usually
schedule?
either at the Kahalu'u right here Key Project. Recently, they've been going to the Winter Community College, and it's also virtual. It's a
Okay,
hybrid.
and then like, is it a set day, time?
I think it's flex,
It's
from my
actually
understanding of.
at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you guys can't find anyone, I would be interested in doing it just to represent our community here in Kahalu'u. I just, you guys need an answer right now? Is that what's going
I
on?
need an answer right now. My recommendation, personally, just knowing what you have going on with everything with work and the kids and what Uncle Cliff already knows would be that we have Uncle Cliff remain on, and if you can accompany him to those meetings and kind of get some training under your belt for, the future, to take
Yeah,
the seat in
yeah,
future. I feel like
yeah,
that
yeah,
would be
that
the
could
best
work. I
case
mean,
scenario.
yeah, I would defer to your suggestion because you know more. I'm willing to represent the community is what I'm saying. If this is what it takes for us to keep it going, sometimes you got to throw your name in the hat, right? I just want to make sure that like I have all of the details is all I was asking for is like understanding, knowing what is expected and that. But I'm totally down, like I said, to represent. But if Uncle Cliff can stay on for that other term, and then I also just go to the meetings and learn and understand it better, that would be a good idea.
So right now,
Because
we have 2 neighborhood boards that's vacant. And they're not gonna rerun our meeting until we have a.
Wait,
board.
Kaneohe Neighborhood Board
Kaneohe
is vacant too?
Board is also.
So they have to
determined.
select somebody.
Elena Bryant is the representative.
So what are
And
they
her
gonna,
Term is out.
so what are they gonna do with her? Are they gonna just renew her?
No, I think she's willing to give it up because she has a lot on her plate. So Mo Radke was a representative before that, but he has served 2 terms before that. So since he's been off this term, he can go back again. You have to be off one term and then you're able to go back again another term. If you, once you serve 2 terms, you cannot serve 3 in a row.
Okay, but you could serve 3 total, just not 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Okay. So Mo is thinking to take that seat.
Whoever they're going to choose from that
Okay.
club, but Remember now, we gotta be effective in there because a lot of issues is coming up and all of the invasive coral and all of that stuff.
Okay, I'm just gonna ask you, Uncle Cliff, do you feel like you can be effective for us moving forward? If Keone is like your accompaniment, you go in with the experience, Keone comes shadow you, and then we have like one strong collective voice. How do we feel about this? Auntie Rocky, I'm gonna defer to you guys. Board members online, you have anything to chime in over here? Oh, Ken, you got anything to say?
Well, Amy, wait, do they have to be active board members?
No, they don't have to be active
can
board
they be
members, but
from the
we as a board
community?
have to choose somebody to do it. So Uncle Cliff is not running for reelection for this board. So, but he'll be community. So he could still sit Kaneohe Bay Regional Council. He doesn't have to be an active board member, which is contrary to what I thought. I thought it had to be an active board member.
But like Amy Lewiston could possibly do it if she wanted to. It's just an example.
Theoretically, right now, it sounds like this is like something we need to decide right now and get whoever we put up for this seat to agree so that we can give it to the gov's office to look over wall session and then go down for Senate confirmation
Yeah.
is where we're
Well,
at
the
right
only
now.
other person I can think of is Ian.
And Ian's not here, so we can't ask
Yeah.
him. Ian
Well,
Ian would be good, I think, because he's real well adept to all of that, but Ian's not here. So does anybody know if that's something he would be interested in even with the amount of kuleana he already has? I love this for us. I need someone to make an executive decision on what you guys want to do. Uncle John, I'm going to let you take over on.
I think we should put this on our agenda. April.
But then session is going to be over before the things. Session
Session's
ends
gonna be
May.
over. So hopefully we're gonna wait for.
We're going to wait
next
for
month.
April.
Hopefully we can get it. If not, we're gonna have to wait for next legislative session. And they're not gonna hold a special one just to vote somebody in tomorrow. Board. I'm just letting you know, because I was there today when they swore in, Fred, Cedric, and Nico, and I got all this information.
I kind of feel like we need some legal advice from the legislature, maybe. Or we, Clifford, if you're willing to go again.
You think you can do it, Uncle?
Yeah, I'll go back.
Okay, I'd like to move that we appoint Clifford.
Again,
Seconded. Any abstentions? Excellent. So we are going to give our recommendation to the governor's office to, wait, Uncle Cliff, did you serve 2 consecutive terms?
put in that.
Oh, God, Uncle Cliff. We're going to retract that. Uncle Cliff, if you're serving consecutive terms, then you cannot.
No,
Auntie Rocky just told us the
that's
rules.
why. That is why.
Uncle Cliff, I cannot deal with you right now. I love you so much. Keone, you want to be the, you think you have capacity for that? Yay or nay? Ask your wife.
Yeah, I was just literally talking to her about it.
What did she say? Ask the
One
real
second.
boss.
Talk to your kids.
I'll give you a minute. Let us know what she says.
How long is the term?
He could also
How long is-
commit for like a year and then be replaced if needed.
How long is the term, Auntie Rocky? $28. Okay. 3 years sounds like, Tony.
3 years, huh?
Sounds like a
Okay.
3-year commitment is what it sounds like.
Okay. So, I mean, since this decision has to be made tonight, this is what I can offer. I'll put my name in the hat, but it's something like I can guarantee, like, since it's quarterly, I can be there for at least the first year for sure. If for some reason something were to come up, I would let you guys know right away and we could figure out who could potentially replacement.
Okay, I feel like
Just to
that's
make,
fair.
ju-
I feel
just
like
to make this stand so that we can keep it going and not lose it and go into sunset.
okay.
I'm
We
willing
can
You
to.
can
overcome
commit.
an obstacle.
If you can commit to a year and it
Yeah.
comes up and you can't do it, I'll commit to your second 2 years. Does that sound fair to everybody here? Does that sound
Works for
fair?
me.
Yay, nay, yay. What's up, Uncle Cliff? Make it quick.
That position, you get voting power on that one.
You get voting.
You
power.
gotta go,
Yeah,
because
Yeah.
time for vote, your vote count.
yep. Okay. You good with that, Keone?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Like I said,
So-
just
Yep.
because it's like so tight and we need to know right now,
Yeah.
that's what I can offer. Just to make sure that we don't lose it.
And the boss said it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So I move that we nominate Keone Machado, or sorry, Jarrett Keone Machado as our Kaneohe Regional Council representative from the Kahalu'u Neighborhood Board. Any abstentions? Seeing none. Excellent. We will get that into Gov's office. Moving on in our agenda, we're going to go back to community presentations, Anti-Rocky Hay State Park, the 69-month revocable, man, I'm having a hard time with that word tonight.
I'll try and
Permit
do it in
issuance.
7 minutes.
Okay.
I can. I'm trying
You
to
do
in
it,
7
you do what you can. Ed.
Okay, what I did is, I did go, you know that the Kamaina kids are done with the Hia State Park. And rather than putting this out to bids that were the appropriate way, in the public way, they offered it to the NER. I'll be very honest. And we were working on it, but because the NER cannot take it, because we are on the federally funded, we are a federal agency, but we do have partners. So it was offered to our partners, whoever wanted to take over. We have Papai Ohi'ia, we have the Kolau Poko Hawaiian Civic Club, the Kolau Foundation, and Kako'o Iwi. So we had a meeting on it. We all met at the Lo'i. So Kako'o Iwi was willing to take the responsibility and putting their foot in on it. So we did also have a meeting with the parks people at Kako'o Iwi. We had Kirk Ochel there, Don Chang, and the whole park staff was there. And in that meeting, Kawaikapo was there also. And what we did is we said, before we can make it a proposal, Kako'iwi, we wanted to see the financial reports. I'll be very honest with you. They said they had no financial, they couldn't get a financial report. So the state said they couldn't get a financial report. So we said, they should have a financial report. If you're the boss, you're the park, you listen to these guys, you should have their financial report. So based upon their report, on their financial report, we would make our proposal to them. So today we haven't got it. We had an iffy. We made just about this much money. That is not a financial report. So anyway, they held a hearing. And at that hearing, in January that I went to, we found out that they already gave the permit to a halau based in Virginia. And their whole board is based in Virginia. And the name of the halau is Ohona. Nobody is from the Kolapoko Moku. The person that got it actually is from the Ko'olaulua Moku, born there, lived on Virginia. His dream was to come home and do he's a kumuhula, do his hula, and do his chef. He's a very young man, younger than my kids. My thoughts was thinking, his dream was to come home. He's been there since 2006. We've been here fighting all this time for the Hia State Park. But then I said in the meeting, why wasn't this offered to a halau, if they're going to give it to a halau, here in our own Moku Kolapoko, because we have more than 100 halaus right here in our own state. Kolapoko has more than 30. And we have kumuhulas that have been born in Marimanok, like the Lopez family, the Deliris, Mapona de Silva. Why weren't they offered this? They were not offered this. And then we have the Deliri one that just married Manu Boy that lives not even a mile away from, that could have been offered it. Well, in that meeting, and I testified and I did tell the board that we've all been blindsided. The community has been blindsided. The land board has been blindsided. And the man who was talking to me from Virginia, who got the lease, was blindsided. Because this should not have been offered. It should have gone on to public. At that same hearing, they had Malaika Hana public hearing going up to bids, but they didn't put Hi'ia State Park out to bids and they gave it to somebody in Virginia. I thought wasn't fair. The whole board member from Virginia, most of them been there. The lease was from 2000. The last one was there from 2006. It's the closest here. So these are all people that are not from our state, and I don't think it was fair for the state of Hawaii to do that. And before when Kirk Ochoa made his first opening statement, he kind of like threw Kavika Winter under the bus, making him look incompetent. And if you know Dr. Kavika Winter, he's an intelligent person. And then it talked about Kakoa Iwi, and Joanne Leong is our secretary, and she was also the head of HIMB. She is not incompetent, but they tried to make her look incompetent because of the fact all we wanted was a financial report so that we could make our proposal based upon how much expenditure we would have to pay. In that, I'm telling you right now, they couldn't give us a financial report. So I asked the board that I would like to see as a community member an audit of all of the nonprofit organizations they had in that park for the last 5 years. Because if they're a state park and they're under them, they should have it. And they can't keep lying to us. Like I didn't say that word, I'm sorry. I used blindsided in the meeting. And the board cut on it because this is the first time I go to meetings all the time for Ahamoku. And the chair asked for a proposal. Nobody from the board made a motion. She said, I need a motion. Nobody made the motion. So our chair, my dear friend, she entertained the motion to give them a year lease at Hi'ia State Park. Asking for a second, nobody seconded. There was a long distance in there. I was in total shock. Everybody just hung their head. They wouldn't even look at me. And she called, and Don is my friend, and she came up to me and she called me back up. She said, Rocky, you and I have been friends for a long time. I felt really hurt. I said, we have, but I'm here for our people, the people of Hi'ia and the people of Kalaupoko. This is not fair to our people that somebody from Virginia gets this, does not even know what's happening in our Moku. But so they finally got a second. The second was, I'll second this on this condition, that this gentleman be given at least 3 to 6 months and give the community time to work on it. And they're supposed to give us an audit, and I'm still waiting. They're going to give us an audit. So he has at least now until July. I'm just giving you guys a report on that.
Thanks, Auntie Mahalo. So can we, do we have, is Uncle Frank gonna put together some kind of proposal? So we have something like in the wings
I
waiting.
told him at that hearing, I was there at Kakoa Iwi when Kabai Kapu stood up and said, I will manage it during the interim. I did it before. Because all the brochures you have there was written by him. And I heard him say that. I said, then I will assist them, no cost to the state. They went ahead and got that guy from Virginia. Anyway, I felt sorry for him until he said, if these kumuhulas want to work with us, they can work under us. Then this is my answer to him. If you're a kumuhula, you should know your protocol. If you're not from here, you're not even asking, you're supposed to be asking permission to come into a Ahapu'a. So what kumuhula from this Ahapu'a going to work under you? I think you better get yourself straightened out. Now, that is how the meeting went.
Okay, so can we put out a kahea then to community, we're looking for community stewardship, right, of Hi'ia State Park?
Exactly. I went, it was closed last Monday, and Senator Papella came down and was going to visit the park, and it was closed.
Yeah.
Yesterday it was
We're still
closed at
following
2
up.
o'clock.
We're still following up on why that's happening, and
No.
DLNR hasn't gotten back yet. I called them last week, and so did Senator Awa's office, and they still haven't returned our calls.
Well, I just wanted to get that.
Yeah.
I wanted our community to know that this is what's happening.
Okay. Thanks, Auntie Rocky. We're gonna move on in the agenda to resident community concerns. Community, let's go.
Aloha kako. Kahalu'u, but right now I'm going to put my hat with Hawaii Institute of Marine Biology, HIMB, on. I am the stewardship coordinator at HIMB and Haia National Estuarine Research Reserve. I also want to point out that we have our HIMB director, Megan Donahue, here. So two things we wanted to bring up today, just to be proactive. One, Joe mentioned CRB a lot. So although we are located in Haia, Ahupua'a, we wanted to bring in, because it impacts Kahalu'u and our whole region. CRB has been detected. There's signs of CRB damage on Mokolo'e, Coconut Island, the location of HIMB. We have about 400 trees there, and they are especially special to us because Princess Pawahi Bishop planted a lot of the initial plants, and these are the descendants of her trees. So we want to manage CRB on the island. One of the many approaches we are, after consultations, is controlling the green waste and the mulch piles that have accumulated. Currently, we don't have the ability to transport all of the green waste that's being accumulated off of the island. So the best approach right now is to do small burns. So we have been working with the Clean Air Branch, fire inspectors, our facilities crew on Mokolo'e to get approval. So I have an info sheet here, please grab. And we got the official approval to have exemptions for open burning, but small. We're not talking big bonfire. Emu size, 4 to 8 feet of the green waste burning. And then the only thing I'll mention about that is, yeah, it's to reduce the breeding sites for CRB. We will hopefully be starting as soon as next week. We're going to do some practice burns with fire inspectors. So we want to make sure all the neighbors know, right, when they start seeing smoke coming from Mokolo'e, you know, to not be calling. We do have to call HFD before we light any fire. We've contacted the immediate neighbors in the coastal area by Lilipuna that are most likely to call and concern. We've also contacted council members, state reps, talked to Makai Watch. We're hoping to go to Kaneohe, the next neighborhood board meeting. Most of our partners know, Marine Base is in the know as well. So yeah, here we are, just letting you folks know, spread the word. It is intentional if you start to see smoke. And then if you have any concerns, any questions, my contact info is right on this info sheet. So yes.
Appreciate you. Any other, Auntie Rocky, you got something?
Well, it's about, you know, my father-in-law, pure Hawaiian, that is what he did. You back to tradition. Burn rubbish, you use the ashes to plant. He had one of the best farms in Hiakia. He had a 4-acre farm that was beautiful before we got evicted.
Thank you, Auntie Rocky. Community in the room, anybody else? Come on up. Sorry, I hate to rush you, but we're going to lose you for the record, but we can still continue our vala'au, but we'll lose you for the record.
Aloha, I'm Jordan Famey. I'm an engineer with AECOM. I'm here to inform the community about a new project that's upcoming. It's not a construction project. The purpose of the project is to obtain funding for cesspool conversion projects in Kahalu'u. That's been, cesspools have been discussed a lot tonight. We are working with Joe at Key Project. It is funded by the EPA. Other folks who are involved are the Hawaii Green Infrastructure Authority. And we're working with the City and County of Honolulu and Department of Health. Quick overview on it. Mentioned obtaining funding, that's the main purpose. We'll do that by developing preliminary engineering reports for specific areas to evaluate cesspool conversion alternatives. So that will be cost estimates, advantages, disadvantages, different alternatives, recommendations, and we'll be working with the community through key project over the course of this. The Hawaii Green Infrastructure Authority will take those preliminary engineering reports and use them to submit funding applications. They get funds, that authority, state agency, will serve as a pass-through for funding and financing to the community for these projects. That's the main thing that I wanted to share.
Thank you so much for coming. I'm sorry this is so late and we're right at 9 o'clock and I'm going to lose my community that's online because I lose my filming, but we can all volao here afterwards. Marie, I see you. I'm so sorry. We're out of time. Can you email me and I'll get it through because I need to adjourn us before I lose my
Will do.
NCO. I'm so
Okay.
sorry. Oh, sorry. So sorry. Or you can drop it in the chat real quick before Rachel signs off. I'm going to defer the measures for board business until next month. Defer our sub-district reports unless anybody has anything specific.
Well, we have a deadline for the Kahalu'u Hawaiian Civic Club for scholarships, to be giving scholarships. The deadline is April 15th, so anybody that needs scholarships, you don't have to be you don't have to be a high school grad, you have to be a kid, anybody.
Kahalu'u Hawaiian Civic Club, hit it online. Community, we love you so much. Neighborhood board elections timeline. Voting begins April 25th, 2025. Passcodes were mailed out if you're running contested. Voting ends May 16th, 2025. Next regular board meeting is April 9th, 2025, 6 p.m. at Key. And City and County of Honolulu Hawaii Food Bank are partnering to fight against hunger. And if you need to donate your goods or want to donate your goods, bring them to the next neighborhood board meeting at April 9th. We're adjourned at 9:01.
I didn't know you could talk so fast.
Mahalos.